Especially when they meet each other. Act 1 of the 2007 Subway Series played itself out back in May. Then the surging Mets won 2 of 3 at Shea, playing with a bravado that mirrored their stellar record at first place status. He's but it's June now, and with summer upon us, it's the Yankees who are riding high. Winners of 9 straight, the Bronx Bombers have a renewed strut after 2 months of struggles. Reyes, Wright, and the Mets. Rocket, Jeter, and the Yankees. Tonight, the Subway Series moves to the Bronx, to the most famous house in our city. New York versus New York, next on the CW11. Difference a few weeks can make. Remember when the Yankees were being written off? 14.5 games behind the Red Sox, all that history amounting to nothing? Well, they've erased half of that deficit already with a 9-game winning streak. The Mets, well, they arrive at Yankee Stadium for their annual visit, having lost 9 out of 10. Still in first place, but other than David Wright, really struggling. Jeter and A-Rod, they've led the Yankees to this incredible run that's gotten them closer to first place. From Yankee Stadium in New York, the CW11 presents New York Mets baseball. Today, the Mets play the New York Yankees. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Yankee Stadium. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez with you tonight as the Mets and Yankees open their weekend series, and the teams couldn't be going in more opposite directions right now. The Mets have lost 9 out of 10, while the Yankees have won 9 in a row.
Well, what a difference from the series at Shea Stadium to now. And you saw it right. You can see it right here. The numbers speak for themselves. I'm a little more concerned about the bullpen, Gary, more than anything else on the Met Ball Club right now. And let's face it, this is the first real test that this ball club has had. Last year's September slump, they were blowing the league away. This is still basically a young team, young guys for the first time. It'll be interesting to see how and who pulls the Mets out of this run.
Well, it's been an across-the-board failure over these last 10 games, but what's the best way to get back on the beam? Get a will-pitch game, and that's what the Mets got from Oliver Perez the last time he faced the Yankees.
Yeah, he's been amazing. The last time he faced the Yankees on May 18th, he really had that good slider. He suffered a little with his control in the first inning, but the problem he's had really in the last couple of starts, he's a guy that knows how to put you away when he gets ahead. His first 8 starts of the year, batters were batting .083 with 2 strikes. Last 2 starts, they're batting .333. So can we dare say it? Maybe Perez is throwing too many strikes.
Well, Perez will be opposed tonight by Roger Clemens, his second start since his latest return to the Yankees. And while his overall numbers over the years against the Mets aren't good, the last 3 times he's faced them as an Astro and as a Yankee, he has dominated the Mets.
He really has. In 22 innings, he's only given up 1 earned run in 24 strikeouts. 349 wins for the Rocket.
Going for .350 tonight as the Mets and Yankees renew their rivalry here at Yankee Stadium. All the action coming up on the CW11 from the Bronx. Roger Clemens getting set for his second start of the season, doing his usual routine as a Yankee. He and Babe Ruth communing. And there is the Rocket, 44 years old, and getting set to face the Mets tonight. And here's your starting lineup brought to you by Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward. Carlos Delgado DHing tonight, something he doesn't really care for, but Julio Franco getting the start at first base. And you see Carlos Beltran moved up to the 2 spot. David Wright hitting third as Willie Randolph tries to shake this team out of its recent lethargy by moving some things around tonight.
Well, Roger Clemens, 349, 178 down. That's plus 171 games. 7 Cy Youngs, 2 of them 18 years apart. 6 times he's pitched in the World Series, an 11-time All-Star. Rocket, I think, considered one of the 3, to me, greatest pitchers to ever put on the spikes.
And the Nissan defense brought to you by your local Nissan dealers. Miguel Cairo, the former Met, gets the start at first base. Robinson Cano, of course, second baseman. Jeter, Rodriguez on that left side of the infield. Matsui Cabrera, Abreu, in the outfield, and Posada, who's having probably, along with A-Rod, career years.
Clemens made his first start against the Pirates. 6 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. And Keith, after the Mets drew just 1 walk in 3 games in Los Angeles, and in fact in the last game had just 1 3-ball count, you would have to figure they've got to be pretty patient against Clemens tonight.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with, I think the pitching picked up. They played a little the upper echelon teams, and they're upper echelon teams because they have better pitching, which means they're throwing strikes. And maybe the Mets hitters are a little bit anxious, trying to break out of this, trying to do too much. But I agree with you, and I think Ronnie stated earlier, is that Clemens is not the big powerhouse he used to be, and gets ahead and tries to nibble for the final to put the hitter away.
Well, here's Reyes to lead off, and Jose continues to get on base, 6th in the National League in on-base percentage, but the extra base hit power has not been there of late, as he bluffs the bunt and takes a breaking ball for a strike. Reyes over the last 24 games with just 2 extra base hits. And there's Beltran hitting in the number 2 spot in the order tonight. And Clemens works the fastball away, 1-1.
Well, with Reyes, he had to go into a little bit of a dip sooner or later. He had a great spring, terrific April, May. It's been 3 months of solid hitting. And, not everybody can keep that up for a full season.
So the recent numbers for Clemens against the Mets. The last time he faced the Mets was in April of '05 as an Astro at Shea. And he pitched a tremendous ball game on that occasion. 1 earned run allowed in his last 3 starts against the Mets. Fouled away, and it's 2-2. You have to wonder, though, Keith. Reyes has made such strides in terms of his patience at the plate. Has that had any impact on his ability to be aggressive and drive the ball?
No, I still see the same aggressiveness. And after this pitch, I'll go a little detail, Garrett.
Hit hard and a base hit for Reyes to lead off the ball game. So Reyes now has a 6-game hitting streak, and he'll set about measuring Clemens' move.
Well, Reyes with 32 stolen bases, and you can see he's been stepping a little bit more in the bucket, Gary, and we've watched him over the years, the two of us. And Reyes has a tendency to step in the bucket from both sides of the plate. And when he goes bad, he tends to step more in the bucket, and that throws him off. And I noticed that watching at home on TV on the road. Now that at bat right there, he stayed right in, hardly had any stride.
Reyes with 32 steals. He's been caught 8 times.
And more importantly, or as important, Keith, one of the themes for the Mets hitters, they got to get that forkball up in the strike zone, and that was a forkball up in the strike zone.
Well, Ronnie, you had the great split finger, and you hated hitters that made you get it up.
That's right.
Beltran lines one into right field, a base hit. Broke his bat, winds up with a hit. First 2 aboard for the Mets against Clemens.
Well, I thought Carlos swung the bat pretty good last night. Hit a couple hard luck line drives to left center field. There he is trying to pull the ball away, but there's a good start for the Mets right there. First and second, nobody out.
So the Mets trying to get off to a fast start, and their hottest hitter, David Wright, will step in. Wright put in the 3-hole tonight, riding a 15-game hitting streak, the 3rd of his career that long. In fact, Wright is the first Met ever to have 3 separate 15-game hitting streaks. And Clemens comes inside. What was interesting on the road trip is that the Mets scored first in every game and yet lost the last 5. And that's awfully unusual. Speed aboard with Reyes and Beltran. And Wright swings and misses, 1-1.
Well, the thing that was alarming to me, and Ron, this is just straight hard pounding, hard boring fastball in that beats David.
We've said it many times, haven't we? That's the place you have to pitch right, is down and in.
2-1 to David. And that's the longest streak in team history of scoring first and not winning.
Well, that's simply, mediocre starting pitching. They had the lead, and the starting pitching just could not hold that lead, and that happens. Everything's streaky, and that was the streaky for the starting pitchers.
And the last 2 days, they got that first run and never scored another. You'd still like to score first. And Clemens with the awkward throw to second as Cano came into cover.
Well, Jose Reyes will make you do unusual things. I think the most alarming thing, what I've seen, Gary, is the bullpen's been so solid, and the bullpen's showing some leaks right now. Joe Smith has struggled. Mota has really struggled.
Cano keeping an eye on Jeter, on Reyes. And Clemens misses and falls behind 3-1. Carlos Delgado DHing tonight, waiting on deck.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Willie wants to make things happen here. You got a ball club that's lost 9 out of 10. Do you set your runners in motion? You got 2 speed burners on the bag. A good 3-1 hitting count for David Wright. See how Willie plays it.
Cano watching Reyes, not going, and it's dribbled toward third, right at the bag. A-Rod gets the out at third, and that's all. Caught the ball standing on the third base bag for the unassisted putout, the first out of the night.
Well, came right back in with the same pitch he let him off with the first strike. That boring fastball in. And hustling down the line, David doesn't get doubled up.
So 1 away, and here's Delgado. Carlos, over the course of his career, has had 607 at-bats as a DH. Lifetime 267 hitter as a DH, a little lower than his career numbers. And if given a preference, he would rather not.
Well, this is the nice ballpark for Mr. Delgado to hit in with that short porch in right field.
And he lays off the splitter and takes ball 1.
I mean, this, of all the parks in baseball, this has got more so than the Green Monster, because it's a big, tall fence, high fence. It's only 314 down that line, and the ball carries to left field. I mean, right field, this is a huge left-hand hitter's ballpark.
1-1 to Delgado.
Okay, tell me, in your prime, you play, so you see the split finger to Delgado. Keith, in your prime, you play at Yankee Stadium as a Yankee. How many home runs a year does it add to your mark?
I think I would have hit 20 every year.
Yeah. So 5 to 7 a year, maybe.
Yes. Maybe, I don't know, 25. I was always, line drives go out of here.
On 1-1, Delgado fouls back the fastball. I guess the question is, as a left-hand hitter, can you get a little too pull conscious?
That's a very good point. I would feel, for me, that Fenway would be better for me. So that would have that monster down the left field line. So I wouldn't want to pull. I only pull in certain situations.
Clemens ahead on Delgado, 1-2. Trying to work out of first inning trouble. And it's low, ball 2. It was very interesting watching him go from the split grip to the fastball grip.
Well, I think that's what happens for all pitchers. Later in my career, when I threw the split, you get the grip right off the bat, hold it in your glove long, and then right before you throw the pitch, you switch to a fastball or slider grip, because you don't want to give away the pitch to the runner on second.
Well, normally pitchers, Ron, have the ball in a fastball grip, correct? And then I think he's doing it to kind of mix it up so that he doesn't get, like you said, not get picked off and tip his pitches.
Now he goes the other way. And the splitter, swing and miss, strike 3. 2 out.
Well, you're right. It's interesting. He starts with split, goes the fastball back to split, just so Beltran can't read it. Good pitch to Delgado. That pitch stayed away. Didn't move too much, but enough speed taken off of the pitch. Delgado out front.
And it's been a struggle for Delgado. And I thought Gary, he was on his way after that series in Florida. And he seemed to have just gone right back after that series, back to square one. It's just been a real mystery season for Delgado, who has been one of the great hitters throughout his career.
So now after getting the first 2 men on, the Mets have 2 out and 2 on, and Paul Lo Duca, who has hit a little bit of a skid, 2 for his last 17, And he takes the splitter in the dirt, 1-0.
Well, I tell you, if I was Beltran, the runner at second, with LaDuca up, who shoots a lot of balls to right field, you got to make sure you get a good lead. I know Abreu does not throw that great, but Yankee Stadium, you're playing so close in right field.
Well, all their outfielders, you can see, are playing shallow.
Well, LaDuca has been a singles hitter this year. Just 9 of his 61 hits have been for extra bases.
And he's been in a little bit of a funk. And
Clemens misses 2-0.
Paul has gotten away from his level swing on the high pitch. He's been uppercutting on that high ball and getting a lot of balls in the air, and he's a line drive hitter. Last year he was very, very disciplined with that level stroke, and he's his swing is getting a little bit away from him, and that's why he's slumped right now.
Sean Green waiting on deck. 2-0 to LaDuca with 2 on and 2 out.
And Paul rockets one down the left field line, hooking, foul.
And he's been looking to turn on some balls this year, and he turned on that one and just hit it foul.
Well, I've thrown a lot of these hanging split fingers. And what they do is they really just sit on that inside part of the plate like they're on a tee, and LaDuca just a little too quick.
LaDuca with 3 home runs this year. Hit one of them off John Smoltz in Atlanta.
You can see his stance right there, very deep in the box, on top of the plate.
This will be Clemens' 20th pitch of the inning. And he misses high, and again he's behind 3-1. He was behind right 3-1 and made a terrific pitch on it.
Interesting to see Clemens, seeing him for the first time this year. Something he must have been working on. 2-1 pitch to right was a cutter. That pitch right there, LaDuca, is a cutter. Something you see him occasionally throw, but seems to be using a lot more here early in this game.
Again, his fastball around 90 and 91 early on. 3-1 to LaDuca. Hit hard down the line. That's a foul ball. So LaDuca just barely missed a couple of extra base hits.
Well, just out of the reach of A-Rod didn't have a chance. And LaDuca has hit 2 line drives foul here on balls that have a lot of plates and just a little bit too quick.
Did you see LaDuca smirk like, you got to be kidding me? Hitting 2 balls hard like that.
But isn't that how it goes when you're in a slump?
So true.
Beltran at second, right at first with 2 down. They'll be off with 3 and 2. Ground ball to Jeter. And he throws out LaDuca to end the inning. So the Mets get the first 2 men on via base hits against Clemens, but Roger gets himself out of it, and Oliver Perez goes to the mound. Oliver Perez trying to beat the Yankees for the 2nd time this year. The Toyota starting lineup brought to you by Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward. Alex Rodriguez just tearing it up. 25 home runs, 68 runs batted in to lead everybody with almost 100 games to go. The Yankees had Johnny Damon in the lineup, but he was a late scratch.
Well, Oliver Perez, his last 3 starts, 0-2 with a 5.21 ERA. Got off to that quick start, but recently has had trouble walking the first hitter in the inning. His first 10 starts only walked 3 out of the 66 batters he faced leading off an inning, 5 out of the last 12.
And the Nissan Metsy defense. Franco gets the start at first. Valentin Reyes right. LaDuca behind the plate. Young Carlos Gomez in left. Beltran Green on the other side of the outfield.
Melky Cabrera leads off. The switch hitter takes inside from Perez. Cabrera's been playing most of the center field lately. Damon was supposed to play in DH tonight, but he was scratched. He's been having trouble with his legs. And so Cabrera leading off, and it's 1-1 to Melky.
Well, Cabrera is not your classic leadoff hitter. There's the guy they like leading off right there, Johnny Damon. He's only got a .320 on base percentage.
It's interesting in a strange way for the Yankees as Cabrera fouls it off. The loss of Jason Giambi has really improved their team because Damon feels comfortable DHing, and Cabrera is so much of a better center fielder than Damon is.
There's Joe right there, and Joe, someone who never changes expression.
Just missing with the fastball, 2-2.
Very much like Willie Randolph. I know Willie was over there for years with Joe, and I think they're two peas in the same pod.
Well, both managers have gone through some rather hefty losing streaks this year. Torre back early in the season. As you look at Joe's managerial career against the Mets, of course, he also managed for the Mets in the 70s. 3-2 to Cabrera, fouled it back.
Interesting, though, right, Keith? You saw that graphic, 90 and 72. That's a full season, 162 games.
Well, it's interesting in the papers you read about Joe. When was the turning point? And the press tried to make a lot out of the team meeting that Joe had, and basically told the guys to relax.
Chopped to short. Big hop for Reyes. And he throws out Cabrera, one away. And Willie has kept a very calm outward demeanor. He's been joking around, kind of making light of the panic that is inherent in a lot of the questions that he's asked. Like tonight, he said, well, we're going to go start a fight, in a very joking fashion. And, you know, I think that it's important for any manager to project an air of calm, and both those guys do.
Well, both managers are greatly respected by their players.
Derek Jeter having a fabulous season, and he takes ball one.
You know, Keith, isn't that the point, though? As a manager, we are not down there. He's there every day with those guys. He has to know his customer, has to read his team. Some teams take a quick kick to the butt, maybe, and some teams you just have to be patient with. So you have to read your own team.
And that's the hard thing about managing. It's not the X's and O's and what you do in the course of a game. It's getting the most out of your 25 players and 25 different personalities.
Jeter lines a base hit. Bud Jeter, who came into the day 10th in the American League in batting, now has a 10-game hitting streak.
Well, fastball in, and it is in, and he just turned on it, and look at that beautiful level swing on a belt high inside corner fastball. Now, Perez, I've always said it, and Ron, correct me if I'm wrong, he's given up 9 home runs to right-handers.
Yeah.
He has to really, really stay focused. He cannot make a mistake to right-hand hitters. He can't drop down sidearm too much and flatten that curveball, the slider out. And he's got right-hand hitters that are on his team in Posada, Jeter, and A-Rod, who are red hot.
Well, here's a left-hand hitter who has found himself. Last time we saw Bobby Abreu, he was going through the worst slump of his career. But he has really turned it on the last couple of weeks, coinciding with this Yankee hot streak.
Well, the first time the Yankees came into Shea, the first game, he was on the bench. That's how bad he was going.
That was against Oliver Perez in that Friday night game. Perez won that game 3-2. Gave up the only home run he's given up to a left-hand hitter in that game, Hideki Matsui. But Abreu's been rollicking, and he's much more the player we're accustomed to seeing from his days with the Phillies. 13-game hitting streak right now. Drawing tons of walks. Look at the on-base percentage over the last 22 games, .453.
With the .513 slugging percentage, it's not like he's just punching singles around the field. He's driving the ball.
Gets away from Loduca, long enough for Jeter to get to second.
Well, we've always said, excuse me, Ron, that what a great player Jeter is and what a heady player. That's a tough play for Loduca. And Jeter just did not, once that ball was by Loduca, he has such great instincts in this game. He was gone. He knew right away. You watch him take his lead. He just went, there's no hesitation. He really is one of the great base runners in the game today.
For as many sliders as Perez throws, it's surprising that's only his 3rd wild pitch of the season.
Tells you a lot about Paul Loduca, doesn't it? His ability to block a ball.
1-1 to Abreu with a runner in scoring position. And he waves at the slider, and it's 1-2.
Very unusual to see Abreu in a hot streak swinging at that pitch. We've seen him time and time again. Anything just out of the strike zone, he seems like such a patient hitter who will take that pitch.
Alex Rodriguez waiting to follow.
There's the mayor.
Alex?
Right behind Alex.
Struck him out, and Abreu down for the second out. Well, I mean, I know he's hit 25 home runs, but So 2 away. Here are your keys to the game, brought to you by your local BMW dealers.
Well, patience at the plate. Got only 1 walk. Situational hitting, struggling with runners in scoring position. And the red-hot Yankees, over 7 runs a game in June. 14 consecutive games with 4 runs or more.
Opposing pitchers' earned run average against the Yankees on the year is .552. They're scoring. Gosh.
Here's A-Rod. He takes way outside. And right before the at-bat, Paul Lo Duca looked into the dugout almost as if to say, are we walking him? Well, you got Jorge Posada hitting .351 on deck.
Well, it's a tough lineup here. And this is going to be the make or break with Oliver Perez. This middle, this right-handed part of this lineup. These 2 guys right here and the guy in the on-deck circle.
1-0 to A-Rod. Swung and missed.
But isn't that what makes a great lineup? It's the give and give. It's this high fastball is thrown by A-Rod. One of the reasons he's having such great success is because Posada is hitting in .350.
A-Rod's only been intentionally walked twice all season. On 1-1, A-Rod takes a fastball for a strike, and it's 1-2. 94 miles an hour on that heater from Perez.
And that's the beauty of the game right there. And that's what I like this from Oliver Perez. As a red-hot hitter. Fell behind 1-0. 2 straight gas attacks. Not afraid.
Struck him out. Went right back with the fastball, left it away. Back-to-back strikeouts for Perez as he gets Abreu and A-Rod to strand Jeter at second. We go to the second at Yankee Stadium, no score. Go to the second inning with no score. Here's our Dodge trivia question for tonight. Roger Clemens, 4,611 strikeouts, 3rd all time. You know Nolan Ryan's #1. Who's #2 at this particular instant in time? Well, taken for a strike by Sean Green.
#2 was #1 for a very long time.
And Green takes inside 1-1. Well, #2 better watch out, because he's not going to be #2 probably by the end of tonight. Jose Valentin on deck. And then Julio Franco in the second. And Green pulls one down to first. Handled by Miguel Cairo. 1 away. Tonight's telecast available in high definition, presented by the Sharp Aquos. Bring the details home. Here's Jose Valentin. Valentin had a couple of doubles in the game in Los Angeles on Wednesday night. A very good sign for him as he completes his first week back from the disabled list.
You know what? I was wrong on that. I thought it was Walter Perry Johnson, but it's not. There's been someone else that passed Walter Perry Johnson. I'm such a dinosaur.
No, when you said it, I said, you know what? I thought it was so-and-so. Maybe Keith's right. But I think the only reason because
as kids growing up, it was always Walter Perry Johnson forever.
That's right.
3508, and I think about 10 guys have passed him.
Yeah.
Yes. Was he the Big Train? Was he called the Big Train?
Big Train, Walter Johnson, the king of the Washington Senators. There's a strike to Valentin, 1-2. Well, you wouldn't really know much about strikeout pitchers since you didn't strike out very much.
Oh, I struck out over 1,000 times.
That's not very much in the grand scheme of things.
I struck out 100 times one year. I was embarrassed. That was 88.
Valentin goes down, and that's the second strikeout of the night for Clemens, leaving him one behind Mr. X.
Well, good fastball, just up in the strike zone, showing you still has a little zip on that fastball. Yeah, you're talking about Walter Perry Johnson. Those Washington Senator teams, he needed every one of those 3,508 strikeouts.
Well, here's Julio Franco. Tonight with Franco facing Clemens. This is the oldest matchup of any pitcher versus any hitter since 1933. 74 years ago. Clemens at age 44, Franco at age 48. In 1933, Nick Altrock, who was 57 at the time, hit against Rube Wahlberg, who was 37.
I knew that.
Rube Wahlberg?
Of course.
But Altrock hitting at age 57 was kind of a publicity stunt. It wasn't even a real, kind of like an Eddie Goodell kind of thing. 1-2 to Franco.
Like a mini Minoso kind of thing?
Right, there you go. Mini Minoso hit at age 70, didn't he?
Must have been a young pitcher.
I was just thinking that.
That was back in the days of Bill Veeck.
That's
Bill
right.
Veeck kept bringing Minnie Minoso back.
Bill Veeck, Eddie Goodell.
1-2 to Franco. And Clemens misses high.
And your favorite night, Burn the Disco Records night. That's
Oh yeah. How about
Bill
the
Veeck
uniforms? Luzinski in that White Sox uniform
that was ugly.
with the shorts and the. I just didn't cut it.
Disco Demolition Night. 1979. 2-2 to Julio. Fouls it away. Franco playing first base tonight with Delgado DHing.
Keith, you and I were talking a little bit about Rocket and Tom Seaver, and although they're different pitchers, they remind me so much alike in one way. They've been so great for so long in Seaver his career, because not only do they have the great stuff, but their location is just outstanding.
Well, that's why they are where they are in the history books.
And that just missed. One of the great 6 degrees of separation facts is that Clemens and Seaver were teammates with the '86 Red Sox.
Well, that's a good inside slider, throwing it right at the hip of Franco, bending over the inside part. Home plate umpire would not have it, though.
3-2 pitch in the air to right field. Abreu back in right center has enough room at the wall to reel it in. Well, Franco trying to take advantage of the short porch and right, hit a little too far toward right center. Jorge Posada leads off in the home second inning. Last year, Joe Mauer became the first American League catcher ever to win a batting title. Posada's making a bid to make it 2 years in a row, hitting at .351, second only to Maglio Ordonez in the American League.
Was it done by one player in the National League, right? Ernie Broglio?
Ernie Lombardi.
Lombardi.
Back in the 30s.
And he couldn't run. They used to play him in the shortstop and second baseman would play Ernie Lombardi in short outfield. He could not run.
Hit hard up the middle and another hit for Posada. So the Yankees have the leadoff man on. The Mets, over the last 10 games, well, they've lost 9 in a row, 9 out of 10. And you see that it's been an overall team malaise. It's been the hitting, it's been the pitching, it's been the defense. Billy Wagner addressed it after that last game in Los Angeles, talking about the Mets' effort.
Yeah, I don't think it's got anything to do with confidence. I think it's just focus and desire. I mean, you got to want it. You got to want it. And right now it's hard, and you got to want it more than everybody else wants it. I'm sure Omar didn't put this team together expecting this type of play. I mean, Fred Wilpon, I mean, he didn't shell out this type of money for us to go out here and play like this.
Focus and desire.
Well, you know something? Today the players come so early, Gary, to the ballpark, and they do all their conditioning and weights, and they're quick out of the ballpark. And always the best sound bites are the interview after the game.
Matsui swings at the slider, 0-2.
You know, they've just got swept in Los Angeles, and a lot of guys just clear out today. They're not around for the media, and those are the best quotes. And a lot of the guys in the Mets now have not been around. And, you know, I kind of admire the people that are there that are standing up and having something to say after a ball game. Someone's got to do it. Yeah, but I think that, you know, Wagner right there was caught in a down moment, maybe a little bit too harsh. The veterans are the ones that got to keep their head up.
0-2 to Matsui. The breaking ball hit weakly back to the mound. Low throw and handled nicely by Reyes. And Perez knew immediately he had made a mistake, and Reyes bailed him out by picking that throw out of the dirt.
Well, here, no crow hop. What you have to do as a pitcher, every time you feel the ground ball take that crow hop, make that accurate throw. Key for any pitcher on a comebacker is you get the out. And how do you get the out? You take your time and make a chest-high throw. It's great if you turn a double play, but you have to get that lead out as Perez. That heart stopped there for a second.
Well, Jose made a very nice play. It was the right play because he had him out. He just rushed it, and the footwork was not there. Very good run.
So 1 out and 1 on. Here's Robinson Cano. Matsui not a base stealer.
I think that when a club goes bad, it's the veterans that have got to take the lead. And it's the difference of playing in New York as opposed to Pittsburgh, Ronnie, or Oakland, where I went to Cleveland. I came up in St. Louis. It's different playing in New York. You've got a multitude of print and media, and somewhat you got to stand. And the veterans got to take the lead, and they're the ones that got to set the example on the field and off the field to take the pressure off the younger guys.
1-0 to Cano. Pulls it on the ground. Past a diving Valentine, base hit. Matsui stops at second, and the Yankees have 2 men on. And that's the first time we've seen Valentine not get to a ball that maybe without that knee brace he might have had a chance for.
Yeah, that ball was hit awful hard, though, right, Keith?
Yeah, that ball was hit hard. He almost got to it. I mean, and Ron, you said it on that road trip. He made some really heady plays on the road. This man can play the game.
Talk about instincts, right?
He knows what he's doing. He's really a fine player, Jose Valentine.
So here's Josh Phelps, who was a late addition to the lineup, DHing because Damon was scratched. Phelps, a journeyman, swings and misses at the fastball. Let me get back to what you were saying, Keith, because the voices we've heard the most during this losing skid for the Mets, aside from Wagner, have been Paul LaDuca and even more so David Wright.
Yes.
Who's not what you'd consider at this point anyway a veteran player.
David, it's the first time experience for him. And it's a big cold shower.
Fouled away and it's 0-2.
When you're playing in New York with a team with great expectations and you go into a mid-season slump and you've allowed the pack to come up and all of a sudden the pressure's on and everything's a back page story. I would like to see, to be honest with you, I'd like to see Carlos Beltran and Carlos Delgado pick it up a little bit in the clubhouse. Particularly Delgado, he is so well respected on the Met Ball Club. And he can take that mantle. I know he shies away from it, and of course, Beltran does not like, he's very shy and quiet personality. But someone has to do it. I mean, you just can't, you're going to have 15 to 20 members of the press after a ball game, and you just can't go back and take a quick shower and get out, or go back into the back room and have a soda pop.
Well, I think that's more that it's that more than anything else. Guys who hide rather than guys who are necessarily leaving early before the media gets there. Breaking ball, pulled, foul.
I'm not saying that Beltran and Delgado are hiding, but for some reason they've shied away from the press, and I just think part of being a leader of a ball club is obviously how you come and perform and go about your business, even when the club is going bad. And someone has to take the lead. Delgado has the most experience outside of Franco here of all the regulars. Has the most time in the big leagues.
2-2 to Phelps.
Well, I guess what we're saying that some people choose not to be leaders of the ball club, and secondly, I think there's what you're saying, Keith, to me sounds, and I think this is so important. It's accountability factor in this town that you don't have in any other town. You really have to. You got to be accountable here for how you play. It's as simple as that. People demand it.
And I think when you talk about leadership, I think you're talking about two different things. Being a leader on the team is one thing, and being accountable to the media is something else. As Phelps goes down, 2 away. So there's the third strikeout for Oliver Perez.
You see Perez shaking his head. That was a good changeup, and he knows it. And it's a pitch that I don't think he uses enough against right-handed hitters. He uses a lot of fastballs in. He makes a mistake. It's always hit hard. His slider, if he doesn't have it, that changeup got him 2 ground balls for double plays against the Yankees in his first start this season.
So here's the veteran Miguel Cairo, the former Met, hitting 9th in the order. First base is something of a crapshoot for the Yankees right now, with Doug Mankiewicz out for the long term.
And not to beat a dead horse, I'll just make this point real quick, Gary. I noticed last night when Reyes hit that ground ball off of Penny's back in his last at bat, and he showed his frustration, which is normal. And Jose runs everything out, and he got halfway to first base, knew he was out, and he kind of put his head down and kind of. He, of all people, can't do that. He has to be the Energizer Bunny all the time for this ball club.
Tough play, and Wright's going to have to put it in his pocket. An infield single for Cairo, and the bases are loaded for Melky Cabrera.
Well, just a swing and bunt. The only thing that I think Perez could have done is he runs over the ball because he knows if he gets that, he can't spin and make the play. You might be able to go down as a pitcher, grab the ball, toss it to right, and maybe have a shot to get him to first base. But, I mean, that would be an impossible play.
So Perez with a big spot here, bases loaded and 2 out, and Melky Cabrera the batter. Cabrera bounced out to short his first time up. No score, we're in the second. And the slider in for a strike. Boy, did that have some break on it. Matsui at third, Cano at second, and Cairo at first with 2 down. He gets him to wave at the fastball. And Cabrera has no idea what's coming next. It's 0-2.
Well, he's got great movement on that fastball. Leduca's sitting in, but see how he lets it go, and it looks like it's going to come inside, and it starts tailing away to the outside. Great movement.
Well, you mentioned earlier, Ronnie, as you look at Jeter on deck, the pitches that Perez made against the Tigers last weekend on 0-2 and on 1-2 that got him in trouble. Here he's ahead 0-2 on Cabrera with the bases loaded. Struck him out. 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and Perez fans Cabrera, and the Yankees strand 3. Fourth strikeout for Perez. His fastball is live tonight. We go to the third inning at Yankee Stadium. Mets and Yankees no score, and Roger Clemens facing Carlos Gomez to lead off in the third, and Gomez takes a strike. Gomez getting the start in left field. A little surprising tonight with the right-hander on the mound. And he lays down a beautiful bunt. Posada pounces on it, has no play. Gomez with that blinding speed has a bunt single. So the Mets get the leadoff man on in the third. Well, it's Father's Day weekend, and every Father's Day it's become something of a tradition to have our buddy Tommy Lasorda with us. Michael Milken is with us as well, and you guys are here, I know, promoting a very important cause.
That's right. We've been on our 11th year of doing this, and we have done such a great job of raising money for research, and it's been very interesting. Michael, who is leading this project, and I said this time and time again, the energy, the money, the time that he's put into it, if there's anybody who can find a cure for prostate cancer, it's going to be Michael Milken.
Well, we have a lot of help from Major League Baseball, the New York Mets and others, and your fabulous leader Fred Wilpon and Jeff Wilpon have just been tremendous in the past decade.
Gomez runs, Posada's throw into the runner, and Gomez has a stolen base. He's now 6 for 6. Well, tell us about how you guys have been going about this project over the last 11 years.
Well, the concept was take your dad out to the ball game. The theme, keep dad in the game. Go with your coworker, go with your dad, go with your brother. Go out to the ball game, enjoy the outdoors. One of the few sports you can actually sit and talk during the game to each other and spend time, and remind you to go get checked for prostate cancer. It's one of the few life-threatening diseases that you can actually get checked for.
Reyes trying to bunt and fouls it off.
It's a secret way of dying. It's a killer, and it's a silent killer. And what Michael is trying to do to make people aware of going out and getting the tests. find out if you're okay or not. If you're okay, fine. If you're not, you would be well taken care of. But if you have it and don't know it and don't do anything about it, then it becomes fatal.
Well, we've made a lot of progress, and even if you catch it late today, the death rate's down probably almost 50%. And out of the $30 million we've raised from the Home Run Challenge over the years with the help of the Mets and Major League Baseball, a great percentage of that stays right here in the New York area with Memorial Sloan Kettering, New York Hospital, Columbia, and many other strong programs, Cornell and others. And that we're hoping will lead to turning it into a chronic disease, not a life-threatening disease. With 1 in 6 men can be diagnosed in their lifetime, our goal in the next 5 years is to make it just a chronic disease.
And the people can participate. They can pledge $1 a home run, $5, $20.
Reyes with the base hit up the middle. Gomez turns third and heads home, and the Mets go in front 1-0.
I'll tell you, the Mets have a lot of speed on that field, don't they, Tommy?
Those two guys right there are very, very fast. And speed is the only thing you use both offensively and defensively.
So Reyes drives in his 29th run of the year, and Gomez with that great stride.
That worked out pretty well. He couldn't get the bunt down. Instead, he had a single.
He's an outstanding ball player, and he keeps getting better every year.
Well, we're hoping we have a few home runs tonight, and that for every home run hit tonight, $15,000 goes to prostate cancer research, 100% of it. And we're looking forward to Father's Day this year on Sunday, which will be right here, when they're all wearing their blue, to remind everyone to go get checked. This is also a period of time when a lot of men go get that simple blood test for prostate cancer because of the awareness that Major League Baseball and the Mets and others have brought.
If they want to pledge, all they have to do is call 800-798-CURE, C-U-R-E.
1-800-798-CURE.
That's right.
Now, our home run pace is about 20% behind last year. How come you think we're hitting less home runs in major leagues this year?
Don't ask.
Beltran on a base hit his first time up. Well, you guys are doing a great job raising awareness for prostate cancer research and doing a fabulous job raising money for the cause. And I know you're making the rounds here tonight, so
we couldn't do it. We couldn't do it without the major league clubs participating in this. They have been just great.
Reyes runs. It's a pitch out, but Posada's throw is high, and Reyes has the stolen base.
He can fly, that guy.
Yes, he can, Tom. He has just turned into one of the fine players in baseball today.
I saw him play in the minor leagues. I went down to be with our Savannah team, and he came in to play a 4-game series. He did everything outstanding. I came back and I said to our people, you get a chance, make a deal for this guy. He's going to be a star.
How many times has he been caught this year?
He's been caught only, 8 times?
Eight times.
33 stolen bases now, caught 8 times.
Wow. He stole that one on a pitch out.
Yes, he did. He's done that more than a few times this year.
Now, last year we got to see all 30 teams play in a 15-day period of time.
Beltran goes down looking, and that's the first down of the inning. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming by. It was great having you here.
Appreciate it.
Good to see
Tommy,
you again.
Michael.
Always good to see
Tommy,
you,
great
buddy.
to see you.
And don't forget your wristbands on Father's Day.
Are they all Dodger blue?
Show the there they
No, it's not Dodger blue. It's baseball blue. Not Dodger blue.
Great job, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Good to see you, Michael.
David Wright grounded into a force play his first time up. Started the night with a 15-game hitting streak. And he takes low on a splitter, 1-0. Mets have scored a run here in the third using their speed. Gomez with a bunt single, a stolen base, and coming home on Reyes' hit, and then Reyes stealing second off Clemens, who last year gave up 14 stolen bases in 16 tries while pitching for the Astros. And Clemens misses away, 2-0.
Well, the Mets, Gary, trying to force the issue here. I like it. They had their speed, and Gomez and Reyes use it. 2 stolen bases in this inning. You got to run in with hopefully get the second run in.
Clemens again with that awkward turn. He made a throw from that position back in the first inning. Remember that Clemens missed his first start with the Yankees because of what they called a fatigued groin. And you have to wonder about that spin move.
There goes Reyes stealing third. Posada's throw, not in time. Reyes steals second. Reyes steals third. 34 now for Reyes, and he's at third base with 1 out.
Well, this is like the '80 Cardinals right here with Vince Coleman. Those guys where they'd steal second and third. You had to watch them constantly. And I just think the importance of this series, Gary, the fact that the Mets are on lost 9 out of 10. You got the speed burners out there trying to make it happen.
Reyes off to an inspired start tonight. He had that terrific pickup on Perez's low throw. He's got a couple of hits and now 2 steals. Infield back on 3-0 to right. And it's a call strike with a splitter on 3-0.
Well, it was a good time to have a hit. Wright's been the only hot hitter in his ball club. A good time to give him a green light 3-0. So Clemens being very cautious.
You got Cairo playing in at first. Everybody else back, conceding the run on a ground ball. And David takes high ball 4, and the Mets have runners at the corners for Delgado. So first and third and 1 away. Here's the answer to our Dodge trivia question for tonight. Roger Clemens, 4,611 strikeouts coming into the night. Well, he's now tied with Randy Johnson for second on the all-time list with his 3 tonight. And they play leapfrog a few times this season.
Yeah, that's right. Didn't Carlton and Nolan Ryan for a while were playing some leapfrog back and forth?
Well, Nolan got the best of that.
Yes, he did.
He's only 1,100 ahead of these 2 40-plus pitchers. Well, here's Delgado with an RBI chance. Came up with 2 men on in the first and struck out, and Clemens works him away.
And getting back to that point, we mentioned last homestand, Gary, about Billy Beane not caring about stolen bases. I couldn't disagree with Billy Beane more. It throws Clemens off his rhythm. He's got to worry about right now out there with 14 stolen bases, hasn't been caught. It changes the whole program for a pitcher.
And Clemens with that third to first move, hoping to get right moving.
You're right, Keith. There's some things you just cannot quantify. Numbers do not explain everything.
Well, it's a big spot here for Clemens, already down by a run. But also for Delgado, who has really struggled in these situations this year. Just 8 for 18 getting a runner home from third with less than 2 out. And that's not what you want from a cleanup hitter. 1-1.
And very ironic this inning. I know we had Michael Milken and Tommy Lasorda up here for a very, very good cause. With the Mets going bad and Reyes trying to bunt, and in a good bunter, he fouls it back twice and he gets a base hit. So maybe those are things that turn the situations around. We'll see.
Clemens works that inside corner to Delgado, 1-2.
I just like Gomez leading off the inning as we watch his fastball inside. Pete by Clemens on an inside corner. Gomez, the youngster, trying to take advantage of the 44-year-old legs of Roger Clemens. Lay a bunt down, try to get the inning started.
Reyes at third, right at first with 1 out. Mets have a run home here in the third and lead 1-0. And Delgado just got a piece of the splitter to stay alive. What do you think about Reyes sacrificing in that spot?
I think Willie's just trying to maybe get a point on the board, get a lead. I don't know. I like him swinging the bat, but you know, a lot of times we've seen Beltran do it before. We've seen LaDuca do it before. Sometimes they do it on their own.
Of course, with Reyes, anytime he lays down a bunt, even if it's a sacrifice, he's got that chance of beating it out. Delgado just trying to put this ball in play. 2-2.
Well, Keith mentioned it. That was great, fouling off that split finger in the dirt from someone who used to throw a split finger. Very frustrating when you throw that great one and it's diving out of the strike zone and the hitter just gets a tiny piece of it and stays in the at-bat.
Clemens has had to work hard early in this game. 57 pitches already, and he's not through the third inning. struck him out. He gets Delgado for the second time.
Well, the fourth strikeout for Roger here, and it's just a straight fastball up and out over the plate. And Delgado again swinging under and through. He has just had a tough time.
You know, we've seen him take that pitch up and away in the strike zone and hit it in the other way, but not with consistency.
So now it's left to LaDuca. Well, the Mets have stolen 3 bases in this inning, had 2 hits and a walk. But unless LaDuca can do something with it, they'll have to settle for just 1 run. LaDuca bounced to short his first time up. And again, Clemens thinking maybe he can get right. Moving on the first move. LaDuca hitting 5th in the order tonight. And he takes it in the dirt, stopped by Posada.
Well, it just seems like Clemens hasn't had the splitter of any kind of consistency with the splitter thus far. And the Mets this inning have not allowed him in the 3rd inning to find a rhythm. They put the pressure on him with Gomez's leadoff bunt single, stolen base. Reyes with a very fine at bat, getting the base hit with 2 strikes, stealing 2nd and 3rd. Putting constant pressure on Clemens, not allowing him to get into any kind of rhythm.
Bouncing ball to Jeter, and he gets the play to second for the force and limits the damage in the 3rd. Mets steal 3 bases, get 2 hits and a walk, but just the 1 run. They lead 1-0. City Field. This is the new Yankee Stadium that's going up just outside the current ballpark, outside left field. You don't see those pictures too often.
By court order.
Court order
From George's office.
That's no court. Well, we snuck a peek. Sue us if you wish. Derek Jeter will lead off in the home 3rd inning.
Don't sue me.
Jeter had a base hit his first time up, and he takes ball 1. Well, for the 7th straight game, the Mets have scored first. However, they've lost the last 5. And Jeter takes a strike. Not only has Derek Jeter hit over 330 this year, he gets better as the pressure gets larger. Look at those numbers with runners in scoring position and 2 out.
That's that bottom one right there. Those are tough RBIs. Those are the clutch RBIs.
David Wright was talking about that the other day, how not only in terms of getting the run, but in terms of swinging momentum in games, how much those 2 out RBIs mean. There are Derek Jeter's parents. Straight from Kalamazoo.
What's that song go? How's it go? I once knew a gal or a girl from Kalamazoo.
You'll have to sing it for me, because
no, I'm not going to sing it.
As Jeter flies out to Gomez for the first out.
Maybe you just knew a girl from Kalamazoo, kid.
You mean there's no song? Don't forget to join us back here on the CW11 tomorrow at 1 for Game 2 of the Big Apple battle between the Mets and Yankees, live from the Bronx. Don't miss an inning as the Mets look to show their crosstown rivals why New York is their town now. The Mets battle the Yankees tomorrow at 1 right here on the CW11. It's Bobby Abreu with 1 out. And Abreu takes the slider for a strike, and Perez has terrific stuff tonight. Fastballs moving, sliders breaking.
Well, this is the 2nd time through the lineup now. And we'll see, he mixed in that off-speed breaking ball for the first time to the left-hand hitter there. He's been pretty much power pitching, Ronnie.
He has been, but he's had a start recently where he had no hit stuff early and then kind of lost his focus.
Against the Phillies, right?
Yes. You saw they showed all the Met fans. I don't know if you guys probably said it. I vaporized there for a short time, but a lot of Met fans here while the Mets were scoring runs. I mean, lots of cheers.
At their own peril.
Yes.
Here.
2-1 to Abreu. The slider misses inside. Well, there was no greater moment to be a Met fan over the last quarter century Then the first ever interleague game between the Mets and Yankees in 1997, played here at Yankee Stadium. Dave Malicki pitched a complete game shutout. The Mets won 6-0, and Malicki struck out Derek Jeter to win the game as Abreu draws a one-out walk. And there were probably about 20,000 people left in the park, all Met fans. They just took over Yankee Stadium. They spray painted their logo on the wall, as it were, because all the Yankee fans had left. It was a 6-0 game. And it was an unbelievable moment to be a Met fan because they'd waited for all of their existence, 35 years, to play the Yankees in a game that mattered, and they won that first game in the enemy ballpark. First walk given up by Perez, and here's A-Rod with Abreu aboard. And he pops it up foul. That goes out of play.
Well, A-Rod got really basically blown away in the first inning, struck him out on 2 straight high fastballs run away, blew it right by him. And looking at A-Rod's year, what a year he's having. 68 RBIs. Wow. Hitting .238 against left-handers. That's surprising.
It's amazing, isn't it? Especially with all the other numbers he's put up.
In the air to right center field. Back goes Beltran. Right back at the wall, and he's got enough room to make the catch. Back to first is Abreu, and just in time as the throw comes into Franco.
Well, this pitch's supposed to be in. It's not. It's away. A-Rod watching it as this ball settles into the glove of Carlos Beltran.
Well, he just got under it. And you hit on the head there. Balduca wanted that ball away, and that's one thing I'd like to see Perez do more, particularly the left-handers, is throw inside more. You can't be predictable out there in location.
So 2 away, and here's Posada, who singled up the middle his first time.
Boy, that was a testimony right there to challenging a hitter, being aggressive with a hitter. A-Rod, who has all these gaudy statistics, the reason he has them is because pitchers shy away early in the count and have to come into him. Oliver Perez instead aggressively right after him, makes a mistake but gets away with it.
A-Rod has a bit of a long swing, and you're not going to get him out throwing slow stuff up there with this. You got to power. If you got a 90-plus fastball, you got to dare him to dial it up a notch.
Ronnie, are you saying if you make a mistake in a pitcher's count, you're more likely to get away with it than a mistake in a hitter's count?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because what happens is that if you're aggressive with a hitter, he is, I'm not saying he's on the defensive, but he's not on the offensive. He's not out there looking for a certain pitch to hit, because if good hitters are looking for a certain pitch to hit, say he was looking for Oliver Perez at a 3-1 count for that pitch, he would not miss it. But he'll miss it earlier in the count when you're aggressive to him.
2-0 to Posada. Abreu has 11 steals this year.
It's hard to imagine this Yankee Stadium in the old days when DiMaggio played and the fence was further back. I mean,
it was really a different ballpark.
Oh, my word.
They changed so much when they renovated this place in the 70s.
I mean, center field was a mile away, and that big left center field, isn't that left center field back where the numbers are?
No, I think it's where the those plaques are. Right. That's where it used to be, all the way back there.
Monument Park.
I mean, that is a huge ballpark.
It was 461 feet to center field.
Pictures of it.
Death Valley was really Death Valley back in those days. It's amazing DiMaggio hit any home runs.
It's unreasonable.
Breaking ball fouled away. 2-1 to Posada. They're your all-time Yankee home run leaders. Babe Ruth started with the Red Sox, finished up his career with the Braves. He was 714. All of Mantle's and all of Gehrig's and all of DiMaggio's came as a Yankee, and I guess all of Yogi's too, although he played briefly for the Mets. strike two to Posada, and it's 2-2.
I always marvel at DiMaggio's numbers as you see Posada swing through again. Another high fastball with that great life. It's because DiMaggio would be many years. You see Yogi Berra to the right, Mickey Mantle two to his right or two to the left.
Kubek in the middle.
Yes.
2-2 to Posada. There goes Abreu, the pitch outside, and he got a huge jump, so LaDuca can't even make a throw. 12th stolen base for Abreu.
First movement, gone.
And that's what you can do on left-handers.
Well, there's the Iron Horse.
The all-time greatest first baseman in the history of the game, and that is a fact.
3-2 to Posada. In there for a call, strike three. Got him looking at the fastball. That's 5 strikeouts in the first 3 innings for Oliver Perez. He's had to work hard, but as we go to the 4th, Perez pitching like the babe. He has a 1-0 lead. Sean Green will lead off against his former Blue Jays teammate Roger Clemens. Clemens played with both Green and Delgado in his 2 years in Toronto.
Won Cy Youngs both of those years. 97 and 98 were those the years, I think.
2 of the 7 Cy Youngs that Clemens has won. Rolled over, and Canoa's got it. Throws out Green, and that's just amazing. 7 Cy Youngs. It's our first run of the game, brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin', and the Mets ran themselves into a run. Gomez with the bunt, Gomez with the steal, and Gomez races home on Reyes' hit up the middle. Speed kills. And that's the run that has the Mets in front.
Well, the Mets, you got to credit Roger Clemens that inning, which was last inning, had 2 hits and a walk, and only got 1 run out of it.
3 stolen bases in that inning. Valentin struck out his first time up, and he rockets one to right field, but Abreu moving over, and he makes the catch 2 away.
Well, sinking line drive down the left field line, and it's just all about, you can see how deep, and it's really not that deep because it's such a short porch. It just looks like he's playing deep, but this is part of the little nooks and crannies of Yankee Stadium. It's hard to go first to third and score on a single from second on a base hit to right field in this ballpark.
The good news is that Valentin's looked pretty good swinging the bat the last couple of games. There's Julio Franco taking a strike. Mets are still without Moises Alou, who is nowhere close to coming back, but they've gotten Green back, they've gotten Valentin back. They got a spark the first day Green came back in LA, although it only produced 1 run early in the game. But the Mets trying to regenerate an offense that over the last 14 games has averaged just 3 runs per game. Franco fouls it back, and that includes those 2 games in Detroit last weekend when they scored 7 runs and lost both. So it's really been a struggle. Clemens looking for a 1-2-3 inning. Ahead 0-2 on Franco. That one eluded Posada.
Amazing thing to me about Clemens is how his excellence is transcended time. He's won 2 of those Cy Youngs 18 years apart. He also struck out 20, 10 years apart. I mean, those are crazy numbers.
And the splitter in there for a call third strike. Franco down looking, and that's 5 strikeouts for Clemens. Franco doesn't agree, but Mark Wagner called it a strike. 1-0 Mets. Hideki Matsui will lead off the home 4th inning for the Yankees. When Oliver Perez faced the Yankees a month ago, that blast by Matsui accounted for the only 2 runs off Oliver. In a Mets 3-2 win. And Matsui takes a strike.
Of course, the big blow in that game was Andy Chavez against Andy Pettit.
In a bunt situation, will he put the hit sign on? After it was a 1-0 count, wasn't it? I really felt that when the Yankees were struggling back then, that this was the guy they missed the most right here, Matsui. He can play.
Yeah.
1-1 to Matsui, and he takes ball 2. It's very interesting you just mentioned Andy Chavez, who had that game-winning hit. Have you noticed that the Mets' losing streak has pretty much coincided with when Andy got hurt?
Well, he's such an important part of the team, and you know, the last year and a half he's been a big part of the team.
Now Perez behind 3-1.
Just gives you an ability, and especially National League ball, to do so many different things for Willie and his team. You know, in the beginning of the year when they were winning, he wasn't even really playing that much. He was a defensive replacement, but an important one because you had 2 aging corner outfielders.
And Matsui takes the fastball for a strike.
It's pretty much a ditto from last season. He wasn't a starter in the beginning, and he got time to play because of injuries to other outfielders, and became really an important part of the Met ball club.
Is shaken off. 3-2 pitch, too high, and he walks the leadoff hitter. Second walk given up by Perez, and so the Yankees have the tying run aboard. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. So here's Robinson Cano, who singled to right his first time up. And you know, it's funny because we said it during that game. Remember, Rollins hit the home run off Heilman, and then at the bottom of that inning, Chavez got hurt on that double play in the bases loaded situation. That it felt like one of those turning point kind of a game, and for the Phillies, it certainly has been. They've been rolling since then, and for the Mets, it has been as well. And now they've got to find their way out of the losing streak that spawned.
See Rick Peterson right there, put his arm up. He's telling Oliver Perez, get that arm up. Do not get lazy, like you said, Keith, and drop it to the side.
Well, all of a sudden, his last couple innings, he's wild, not even close. So he's lost a little bit of rhythm.
I bet you he is. Peterson's going to come out right now. Usually don't see it in the middle of a count, but like you said, Keith, he's so away from where he should be. Time to have a little instructional meeting here and what he's doing wrong.
And this is good. This is exactly what Rick has been doing with Oliver Perez since his first bullpen session in spring training this year.
He did, but recently, the last 5 or 6 starts, he's a couple of times not gone out there, and I think it's cost them, not because Oliver Perez doesn't know how to make adjustments on the fly. He's trying to do that, but I think he's still new in this whole Rick Peterson system, the arm slot, and just needs a reminder every once in a while.
So after having walked Matsui, he's 2-0 on Cano. You got the 8 and 9 hitters, Phelps and Cairo behind him. But he falls behind Cano 3-0.
Well, the 2 left-hand hitters led this inning off, and lefties are hitting .203 for the year against Perez. You certainly don't want to give him a free pass, let alone 2 back-to-back.
And the other thing is, against this lineup, you've got a little margin for error at the bottom. Once you get past the bottom, you got a lot of firepower. So you've got to take advantage when you work this Yankee lineup. Back-to-back walks to start the inning for the 2 left-hand hitters, Matsui and Cano. So now Josh Phelps, the number 8 hitter, will come up.
You make a good point, Gary. If I were still pitching, I would look at this lineup. And it's pretty obvious who the great hitters are. I'd have to say to myself, Cabrera, Phelps, and Cairo have to take an over tonight. Got to handle those hitters. Those are 9 or 12 of my outs I'm going to have tonight.
Phelps takes the fastball high. Phelps struck out his first time. But if you're not in the strike zone in this Yankee team, you've seen it for years, they're going to make you pay by waiting you out. And, Rick Peterson looking like he's getting a little impatient. Good fastball, and it's 1-1. Well, lately, Perez has issued a few leadoff walks.
Well, you can see the uppercut swing. It's obvious that Phelps is a low ball hitter. And this is the closest I've seen Perez as far as his command, Ronnie, since that second start when he walked 7.
Well, his last start against the Tigers, he had a couple of very difficult innings and had 5 walks in 5 innings in that game. 2-2 to Phelps.
He's just letting it air out right now. That's all he's doing.
Well, he was really helped by Phelps. On the 1-0 count, Phelps swung at that high fastball. That was easily 2-0. Phelps is from that school of swing hard in case you hit it, kind of got a big swing, kind of home run type slugger swing.
By the way, Cairo's not a left-hand batter, even though he was singing lefty on deck. 2-2 misses, and now Perez in danger of walking the bases loaded. Miguel Cairo, career right-hand batter.
There was the mayor again. Mayor Mike.
Nice to see him here.
Here he is. 3-2 to Phelps. In the air to right field, playable for Green. Matsui tagging at second, but it's not that deep, and he's going to fake the go and draw the throw on the fly to third base.
Well, Sean Green here, his ball's hit shallow, and Matsui does the right thing and bluffs, forced the throw, almost could have thrown it away.
Missed the cutoff man.
Here you have to be very careful, though, because if it does get away from the third baseman, even if the pitcher is backing up, there's such a short distance between the bag and where it can go into the stands. Very hard for the pitcher to react.
So now Matsui and Cano remain on second and first, and here's Miguel Cairo, who had a swinging bunt single his first time up. Mets would love to turn 2 here as the slider's in for a strike.
That was almost like a get me over slider, wasn't it, Ronnie?
Which is all right. That's all right if that's the first pitch. But after that, he's going to have to get a little more tilt on it. He really is coming underneath that slider right now this inning.
Guillermo Mota springing to work in the Mets bullpen. Perez up to 70 pitches working in the 4th inning.
In the air to left field, hit pretty well. Back toward the corner, Gomez at the wall, and he makes the catch. Back to second, the throw is in time for the double play. What a play by Carlos Gomez. Going right to the fence on this fly ball by Miguel Cairo. He took a home run away from him, and then he doubles Matsui off second base to end the inning. 7-4 on the double play. 1-0 Mets.
Well, Carlos Gomez will lead off the top of the 5th, but he kept his cool here, battling the Yankee fans in the left field corner.
Not sure if that had been a home run. It's close. But Matsui makes a terrible base running blunder here, getting caught up too far. All he had to do was get 3/4 and stay planted. The ball drops. He walks home. If it's caught, he gets back. But that just bailed out Oliver Perez.
Carlos Gomez, who had a bunt single, stole a base, and scored a run in the 3rd.
Well, the bench you can see right there. That's a big play.
Would have been very interesting had that fan reached out a little bit further.
Yeah, lucky Jeffrey Mayer is not here.
Well, we almost had another Jeffrey Mayer. It's got to be tough, though, to go back with those fans reaching out like that and keep your concentration, no?
It's a distraction. You know, my only experiences with it are pop-ups down the first base line. If you got fans reaching over, it is a distraction. Your focus is on the ball. And just a really nice play.
I think you're right. It was not going to be a home run, Keith. Because if the fan had touched it, it would have been interference. That ball would have been in play. And then the umpires would have had to figure it all out, which Richie Garcia did not do.
No, he didn't.
On the ball that Tony Tarasco had taken away from him.
He was afraid they were going to hang him from the facade up there in right center field.
1-2. Gomez wastes it away. I can still see the expression on Tarasco's face, waiting for that ball to settle down in his glove, and all of a sudden it disappearing. Of course, that was over in right field, where the fence is a little bit higher.
And that's the argument you've been saying, Gary, about on the home run ball having instant replay on that particular call.
On 1-2, the splitter misses. Well, particularly because it's, not so much here because you've got short corners, but in other ballparks where the plays are so far away from where the umpires are stationed, it's almost impossible for them to make call. Now, the playoff Jeffrey Mayer play, you had Garcia, who was right there in the right field corner because he had extra umpire. Broken bat grinder right back to Clemens. And that's the first out.
We've seen it happen already this year. I think one of the problems also is all the advertisements that are on the outfield wall. You can, as an umpire, be right there and lose it.
Especially when you get white signs.
White or yellow.
Yeah.
Yellow's tough also.
And of course, then you have the play against the Phillies at Shea, where you have the back fence and the front fence and trying to figure out which fence it hit.
Here's Reyes, is already 2 for 2, and he hits one in the air deep to right field. That ball is out of here, off the facing of the upper deck. Jose Reyes with just his 3rd home run of the year. He's having a huge night, and the Mets have a 2-0 lead, and Reyes has driven in both runs. Well, we mentioned earlier how few extra base hits Reyes has garnered lately. That ball was crushed. Here's Beltran. He hits one off the end of the bat, just foul.
Well, this is a ballpark here at Yankee Stadium. If you throw a curveball and you hang it like this out over the middle of the plate, that's a ball to drive out of here. It doesn't take much, and look how far this ball went. Boom, almost upper tank.
It was exactly 200 at-bats between home runs for Reyes. His last one came April the 21st against the Braves. He hit that one off Chuck James in his 67th at-bat. He hit this one in his 267th at-bat. 1-1 to Beltran. Reaches for it and taps it foul. 1-2. So David Wright, who's been the only hot hitter in the lineup tonight, it's been Reyes. 3 for 3, 2 stolen bases, 2 RBIs, and his first home run in nearly 2 months. Beltran goes down on the splitter. That's 6 strikeouts now for Clemens, 2 away.
Well, good splitter there by Clemens, who threw only splitters. Carlos Beltran that entire at bat. Usually Roger features some fastball inside to the left-handers. Has not done a lot of that in tonight's ball game, but pitching a fine ball game. 4 2/3, only a couple of runs.
Here's David Wright. Reyes toweling off after his latest feat. He has had a complete game tonight.
What's next?
Probably a triple. This is not an easy triples ballpark, though, unless you hit it to left center. Now that's a nice touch, isn't it? Does he have the 7 train in there or just the 4?
I see the 1.
I took the 4 up today.
Yeah, the 4 I see, the 1. The A, C, and E.
I don't see the 7.
No 7. 7's down lower.
Well, it should be off to the right somewhere.
That's right.
Queens.
Well, he's prejudiced.
But that's a nice touch, I have to say. David has grounded into a forced play and drawn a walk tonight, 0 for 1. Reyes explaining his feats to Father Time. 0-2 to right. Julio almost had a home run tonight.
Yes.
There's Delgado on deck.
So did A-Rod. He just missed one.
Right about the same spot. 0-2 to right. Lays off the fastball, 1-2. Tomorrow afternoon in game 2 of this series, Tom Glavine tries again for win number 296. And the rookie Tyler Clippard will face the Mets for the second time. Splitter bounces away, 2-2. Clippard made his big league debut on that Sunday night against the Mets at Shea and pitched a terrific game in getting the Yankees their only win in that series. He's struggled a bit since then, despite that 3-1 record.
He was throwing 3 pitches for strikes that night. His good curveball, and I was really impressed with his changeup for such a young pitcher.
El Duque comes back to the stadium Sunday night against Chen-Ming Wang. Fouled away by Wright.
Roger has stayed away from David here now since he got ahead 1-2. Just wondering, he got him out the first inning with that fastball in. See if he goes back into the well there.
Up to 84 pitches now here in the 5th inning. Hit hard toward the middle, past Jeter, base hit. And that extends David Wright's hitting streak. It's now at 16 games.
Another splitter. And a good spot down and away, and good hitting by David there. And good balance off the end of the bat, but he stayed back nicely.
Keith, you made a good point there, that if a pitcher doesn't go inside on a hitter after he's got him out in the first inning, that tells you he doesn't like his fastball that much to go with all those breaking balls. If he had thrown one fastball inside, that might be a ground ball to short instead of hit hard enough for a single.
Delgado's been up twice and struck out both times, each time with 2 men on base. Now with Wright at first, he swings over the splitter, and it's 0-1. Mets have already stolen 3 bases against Clemens tonight. 1-1 to Delgado.
Well, it's been a struggle for Carlos all year on a splitter there in the first. And just a fastball right there. Well, both times with runners in scoring position. Carlos coming into this game hitting only 197 with runners in scoring position.
Wright runs, Posada with a throw, a high one, and Wright's got another stolen base. He is now 15 for 15 to start the season, and the Mets have their 4th steal of the night.
Well, a bit surprised that Roger kind of forgot about David here. And this was a good time to steal right here, despite the fact that Delgado's up. There's 2 outs, get in scoring position.
And the way that Delgado's going, you can't treat him right now like the cleanup hitter that he is. Be happy if he just gets a single here, gets that run in.
And these are the kind of things for an older pitcher that can happen when you don't go through spring training in the beginning of the season. Your feel for the game, your feel for the runners on base, and keeping them close.
It'll be interesting to see what Clemens does here. 3-1 to Delgado. Slumping hitter, but a dangerous one. First base open and the right-hand hitter on deck. Throws a splitter on 3-1, and Delgado chased it. And isn't that what Willie was talking about when he said the other day, don't feel as though you own those RBIs?
Watch his front hip. Its first move is out. It's just not staying in. And I know Carlos is aware of it, and he just hasn't been able to make the correction.
3-2 Delgado. Fastball in there for a call, strike 3, and Delgado strikes out for the 3rd straight time. Clemens got him to chase on 3-1 and then got the call on 3-2. 7 strikeouts for Clemens. Reyes with the bomb, his first in 200 at-bats, as the Mets ahead 2-0. CW11 poll question brought to you by NYPD Recruitment. Apply now for the next exam at NYPDRecruit.com or call 212-RECRUIT. Will the Mets meet the Yankees in October? Log on to CW11.com to vote and then tune in tomorrow for the results. Melky Cabrera takes a strike as Oliver Perez starts the 3rd time around the Yankee batting order, working with a 2-0 lead. Cabrera's bounced out and struck out.
And he reaches for one and fouls it off, and Perez ahead 0-2.
In between innings, you and I were talking about it, weren't we, Gary, that this is a huge inning for Perez. You want to put a 0 up and keep the momentum in the Mets dugout. You're facing the top of their lineup, which is as good as any in baseball. And you just want to try to have a low pitch count, because his pitches are up there and he wants to try to get deeper into the game. Makes it easier for the Mets bullpen.
Just threw his 74th pitch of the night. He misses with the fastball. 2-2 to Cabrera. This is a vital hitter for Perez. He walked the first 2 hitters in the 4th, got a little fortunate with the fly ball double play, but you got Jeter, Abreu, and A-Rod up behind Cabrera.
It's a vital inning.
Popped it up.
And he helped him out with a high fastball.
Good start as Beltran comes in, and Perez gets the first out here in the bottom of the 5th. The Cyclones are Brooklyn. Secure your tickets for the opening week of the Cyclones 2007 season today at brooklyncyclones.com. It's a hot ticket. Get it now. Here's Jeter. Single to left, fly to left, 1 for 2.
And you're right, Keith. Helped him out with that high fastball. Johnny Damon, consummate leadoff hitter. He takes that for a ball. Does not swing at that pitch.
Jeter with his hit tonight has a 10-game hitting streak going. And he punches that one foul. Well, the Yankees during this hot streak have been averaging over 7 runs per game, but Oliver Perez has held them in check so far as Bobby Abreu waits to hit next. Perez trying for a bounce-back performance after a difficult one in Detroit last Saturday. 1-1 to Jeter. Eric will turn 33 next week.
Baseball excellence.
And offensively getting better.
Yeah. Little tapper. Valentin has to hurry in. Uses the glove, makes the throw, got it. 2 out.
Well, nice play by Valentin. He should make this play. He knows he's got to hurry with Jeter. You can see him check the runner right there. Knows how much he has to rush, but he knows right from the get-go that he hasn't got much time. And a big 2 outs for Perez here, who the last 2 innings has been a little bit on the wild side.
Keith, nice classic play, too. In this day and age where everyone wants to field the ball with the bare hand, 2 hands with a quick exchange.
So Perez has a chance for his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. And he struck out Abreu in the 1st. Then threw strike 1 to him in the 3rd, but then couldn't throw another strike.
Well, it's just interesting that of his 3 walks, they've all been to left-handers.
1-1 to Abreu. So check out our pitcher's high speed, brought to you by Verizon, working for you. Perez up to 95 on a couple of occasions tonight. Clemens at 92. Perez has struck out 5. Clemens has struck out 7. Bouncing ball and a nice big hop for Valentin, and Perez has his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. So there's a big inning for Oliver Perez. He's shut out the Yankees through 5, and he has a 2-0 lead. Spent Thursday evening, June 21st, with Beltran, Delgado, Glavine, LaDuca, Reyes, Wagner, and Wright at the Mets Foundation fundraiser in Greenwich. For details, visit Mets.com or call 718-803-4074. There's your Infinity Line score. Mets with a 2-0 lead as we start the 6th. And Paul LaDuca takes a strike. LaDuca has bounced out twice, both times to Jeter. 2 for his last 19 now. Clemens up over 90 pitches as he works here in the 6th. Went 6 innings in his first start against the Pirates and threw 108 pitches, so he's right about at the same pace. In that game against Pittsburgh, he allowed 3 runs in 6 innings, won the game 9-3. Tonight, the Yankees have been shut out for the first 5. The Yankees have had very few save chances this year. They have 8 saves as a team, the fewest in the majors. And you look at their record in close games, and it's stunning. In games decided by 2 runs or less, the Yankees are 6-18 this year. Lately, though, during their 9-game winning streak, they've been blowing people out. in the air to left field. Back goes Matsui with room. And LaDuca retired one away. Now Roger Clemens, who allegedly retired 4 years ago, continues to post wins after the age of 40. Heck, from the time he joined the Astros to the end of the season last year, he led the National League in ERA.
That record is amazing for someone over 40 years of age.
You know, the most wins over 40 were accomplished by a knuckleball. Phil Niekro won 121 games after turning 40. Nolan Ryan won 71. And Ryan is really the only guy, I think, that you can compare to Clemens in terms of longevity of a power pitcher pitching this deep into his 40s.
Well, Nolan also was one that never had arm trouble, always had back and legs. Clemens early in his career had arm problems. Remember, they thought he was shoulder, he was going to be finished. Well, he bounced back. Ryan threw 100 miles an hour, and I was fortunate for me to be a left-hand hitter because the ball ran away from me. I would not have wanted to be a right-hand hitter with that ball started on the inside corner.
It's split, and it's 2-2 to Green. You know, Roger has always been a very intimidating presence on the mound, but he doesn't throw as hard as he used to. Do you think the intimidation factor is still there for him?
I think on young kids, and you have to respect him. Look at that record with the Blue Jays. That's just for 2 years. You certainly have to respect him, and it would be more curiosity to face him. He's been all laid off for how long, and he's coming back. Really, how many weeks was he down getting in shape, ready to pitch? So as a hitter, you'd want to gauge his velocity. That would be the first thing I'd do. First time up against him, I'd hope to get a fastball first pitch and take it and see how hard he's throwing.
And Green goes down swinging, and that's 8 strikeouts now for Clemens in just 5 2/3 innings.
Well, he's throwing hard there. That ball right by Green. Same pitch he threw to Delgado, so that is a spot that up and away to left-handers that his ball has lots of life, even at 91. You know, Roger in his prime was a 96, 97, 98 mile an hour guy.
What was he in 86? He was 24-4. We faced him twice in the World Series.
Yes, you did. Left with a lead the last time, as I recall.
Yes, and some controversy about that exit too. And John McNamara, the manager, kept mum for years, and took heat for taking Roger out. And then around 7 years or 10 years later, more or less said he was done.
1-1 to Valentine, 2-0.
I would have said, "I'm sorry, you're done, but guess what? You got all winter to rest. You're 24-4. You're my Cy Young. You're going to win this game. We're going to go home. Then you can sleep all you want
for the championship.
I'm not going to the bullpen."
Roger was 24 years old in 1986, just about the same age that Tom Seaver was in 1969. When he pitched 10 innings in a World Series game against the Orioles.
I think it's really incredible when you see that 86 AL MVP. For a pitcher to win an MVP, that says it all. That's so hard.
Cano plays the roller and throws out Valentine, and Clemens has himself a 1-2-3 inning. Up to 100 pitches, so that might be the end for him. Mets have a 2-0 lead. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Mets with a 2-0 lead, trying to snap a 5-game losing streak as they open their weekend series here in the Bronx. Happy birthday to Andy Pettitte, 35 today. Got the win for the Yankees yesterday over the Diamondbacks. Nice birthday present for him as Alex Rodriguez takes a strike.
You know, it's funny, whenever you see championship teams, or I do anyways, there's always someone on that team that never gets as much, praise for what he does. I think Andy Pettitte was unbelievable in those great Yankee teams. Now coming back for a rerun.
A-Rod barely missed a home run his last time, upsetting Beltran back to the wall near the 385 mark in right center. Posada and Matsui to follow here in the bottom of the 6th. And Rodriguez takes inside. It's 2-1.
Now who was that? Is that the president of NBC?
Yeah,
on the right.
Yep.
I didn't know they ate popcorn at the ballpark.
Looked like potato chips. Right at Reyes, and he throws out A-Rod, one away. Well, it was 30 years ago today, maybe one of the worst days in Mets history. The day the Mets traded Tom Seaver. June 15th used to be the trading deadline. M. Donald Grant did not want to negotiate a contract with Seaver and traded him to Cincinnati for 4 far lesser lights. He would eventually come back, but not till much later, after the Mets had resurrected their franchise, resurrected in part by a trade that was made 24 years ago today. That would have been the trade of Neil Allen and Rick Owenby to the St. Louis Cardinals for a left-hand hitting first baseman named Hernandez.
A 29-year-old hitting left-hand hitting first baseman.
But when you think about it, those two trading deadline deals bookended the worst period in Mets history. The trade of Seaver began the dark days of the late 70s and early 80s, and the trade for Keith really was the beginning of the new era of Mets baseball that led to the '86 championship.
Well, I always like to say about that is that Perez just blew the fastball by Posada was that no one player makes a ball club, and Frank Cashin had made trades. Ron Darling was one of those trades. I mean, there was such a wealth of talent and young talent on that team, all there to come up together. It was so much fun.
Posada lays off, and it's 2-2.
I think the key for that is you got to thank your pops. Your pops was such a baseball fan, and he knew the minor league players. So the Mets were kids that could play.
Well, he had the satellite dish, my dad, and that was the year. What was the year they showed the minor league games on ESPN, Gary?
81.
Started in 81 when you guys were on strike.
Right. So, of course, my dad had nothing else to do, so he watched minor league games and on the dish, and got to see Dwight Gooden and Dykstra and Sid Fernandez and RJ over here, my partner. And I remember I wanted to go to the Dodgers, and I was thinking about going to the Dodgers. And Frank Cashin told me that he'd like to know by the winter meetings whether I want to stay or not. He wanted a commitment, and that was fair. My dad called me and said, "You know, son, there's some people down this Met farm system. I think you ought to stay. I think they're ready. They got some talent."
3-2 to Posada. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Second time that Perez has gotten Posada. That's 6 Ks now for Oliver, who's retired 7 in a row. And here is the perennial Gold Glove winning first baseman.
Hey, that's when I had a 32-inch waist. Look out. I was trouble.
And so deaf, too. June 15th, that was 1983, the day of the Keith Hernandez trade. One remembered much more fondly than the one 30 years ago, dealing Seaver away for Pat Zachary and Doug Flynn and Steve Henderson and Dan Norman, and always felt for those guys because they could never fill Seaver's shoes.
Wow.
Cut by Matsui, and it's 1-1.
Oh, you know what's happening, Ronnie? He's getting the strikeouts with the big hitters and the outs on the fastball.
Luis Vizcaíno, very heavily used out of that Yankee bullpen this year, as Clemens has thrown 105 pitches through 6 innings. And Matsui takes the fastball for a strike, and it's 1-2.
I think what happens, Keith, when you go up against Perez, you're thinking to yourself, you know, we got to work this guy in the count. Tends to walk a lot of people. He's going right after him, throwing strikes. Except for that 4th inning, he's been so aggressive.
1-2 to Matsui, drops down, and he fouls it off. I'm not sure Rick Peterson likes to see that, but Perez with the sidearm against the left-hander.
Well, I don't mind this with 2 strikes, but only do it 1 time. And I'll give Matsui credit that he was able to stay focused and stay in the at-bat.
It's the old David Cone Laredo.
That's right. Usually followed by a Laredo slider, but I don't know if Oliver Perez has that pitch.
In the air to right center, chasing back Beltran, and he makes the catch. Side retired. 8 in a row retired by Oliver Perez. And just a little leap. I think he's getting tired. 2-0 New York Mets as we go to the 7th. Coming schedule. Mets and Yankees, 2 more games here tomorrow on the CW11, and then we'll be back on SNY Monday night when the Twins come to Shea. Start of a 10-game homestand, 3 with Minnesota, 3 with Oakland, and 4 with St. Louis.
You guys will be back next week, not me.
That's the we.
Well, Oliver Perez, I think once in a while he just can't help himself. He wants to get off the game plan with Laredo.
That is hilarious.
Classic.
That is hilarious.
That'll lead to a whole between inning lecture, won't it? He spent months trying to get him to stop doing that.
Remember when you were a teenager and you got your dad mad and he'd be chewing you out and you'd look him in the eye and you'd shake your head and you were going in one ear and out the other. You weren't even hearing a word he said.
Well, you're just hoping, how long is this going to last?
You just described in a nutshell what my kids have done to me for years. Okay, Dad, could you stop? Toward the middle, Cano on the backhand as time with Franco running. And there's one away. So 1 out and nobody on. And Carlos Gomez coming up, and what a night he's had. Generated the first Met run with his legs, and then generated a double play with his glove and his arm.
Well, it's all a matter of young Carlos here, whether he hits. And he's very young. He's being thrown, I think, because of the injuries. He's been thrown into a situation. I think the Mets did not want to put him in this situation, but because of the rash of outfield injuries.
Oliver just going to keep on nodding. And he bunts it despite a pitch up and in. Cairo flips it to nobody. And Gomez has his second bunt hit of the night. Well, Clemens came up and in, and Gomez somehow was able to get that bunt down.
Well, maybe other teams will start bunting on Roger. He's not a spring chicken anymore. He doesn't get off the mound like he used to. Nice bunt.
Well, good bunt. One to third baseman here to the right side. Of course, he's going to beat Clemens to the bag as Joe Torre comes out.
Cairo, I guess, was trying to lead Roger, but Roger had no chance to catch that ball.
And I think Roger knew it and did the right thing, let it go, and hoping that Cano would get there.
This call to the bullpen is brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Well, Luis Vizcaino in the game, the much-traveled right-hander. It's his 5th organization, the New York Yankees. He's really struggled with his control. Look at that walks to strikeouts ratio. More walks than strikeouts.
It's been a huge night for Jose Reyes, who homered in his last at-bat, his first since April the 21st. He had gone 200 at-bats without a home run. He's 3 for 3, 2 stolen bases, a home run, and he's driven in the only 2 runs of this game. Gomez has already stolen a base tonight. Mets have 4 stolen bases. And Vizcaino falls behind 2-0.
Hanging curveball in this ballpark with that short right field porch. But that would have been out anywhere.
Didn't we see him earlier in the season? Maybe not for home runs, but curveballs up in the strike zone. That was his doubles, his triples, kind of power numbers.
Well, the extra base hits have been few and far between as Mr. Smith gets ready. But Reyes has come out from the beginning of this ball game with some fire in his eyes tonight. He had a terrific pickup on a low throw that really helped save Oliver Perez early in the game.
It's just amazing how speed can energize a ball club. And you look back to that 3rd inning with Carlos Gomez and Reyes.
Reyes pops one foul, and then he'll go out of play, 2-1.
And that speed, and that power, and the base hits lead to only a 2-0 lead so far.
Yep.
You can talk about all you want. It's still a very tight ball game, 2-0. It's all about Oliver Perez pitching a fine ball game.
Well, you also have to look at your cleanup hitter has come up with 5 runners on base in his first 3 at-bats and struck out 3 times in a row. This could be a very different game if Delgado could have just gotten his bat on the ball a couple of times. Two and one to Reyes. Gomez is running. Posada with the throw, a good one, and Gomez is out for the first time. Carlos Gomez had been 6 for 6, but Posada nails it.
Well, a good pitch to throw up. Short hops, Jeter, but the short hop's easy. The long hop's what's difficult. Nice throw by Posada, and that's a big out.
You know, the problem was, Keith, that as he gets older, he'll realize when he does not get a good jump or slips when he takes that lead, because Gomez slipped just a hair, that he'll go back to the base. He'll shut it down.
You've seen Gomez have problems with footing in the outfield. And Reyes draws a walk, so he's on with 2 out.
Watch Gomez slip here. When you slip like that, you can stop and come back to the base, but he proceeded and out of second base.
Does he ever remind you guys of Lonnie Smith?
A little bit.
Who had the nickname Skates?
Yeah. I had a game against the Cardinals where Lonnie Smith had 3 hits off me, and I picked him off base 3 times in a game because he used to take those big leads, and he kind of lose it occasionally, just lose his concentration.
Here's Beltran, who's 1 for 3. Reyes has 2 steals already tonight. He stole 2nd and 3rd back in the 3rd inning. Now has 34 for the year to lead the major leagues. Pedro Feliciano getting ready in the Mets bullpen.
Well, Lonnie Smith was our leadoff hitter in that '82 World Championship Cardinal team, and he was Skates.
Reyes runs. Posada with another chance. Can't get this one. Close play, but Reyes beats it for his 3rd of the night. Jeter talking about it with the second base umpire Mike Winters.
Well, nice, no wasted motion. This throw is waist high, good call. If this throw is belt high and lower, he's out. Just close. Let's see. Very close.
Just about a tie.
Tie base goes to the runner.
So Reyes with 35 for the year. Now Beltran will try and get him in. 2-0.
Well, let's take another peek here.
Well, tags up the arm. Does the hand get in first?
It's so close.
Jorge Posada has given a lot of credit the last couple of years since Tony Peña's been here with helping him with his throwing to second base. Tony, one of the best of his era.
That's a great close-up, and I still don't know if he was out or safe.
I agree.
Pulled foul, and it's 2-1. I mean, that's as great a look as you can ever get, and you still can't tell.
So let you know how difficult it is to be a big league umpire.
Well, Mike Winters was right on top of it, and Jeter argued about it for quite some time before finally giving up the conversation.
And we've talked about it before. Since the umpires are under such scrutiny, that's a play my generation isn't out because the ball beat them. They would automatically call that base runner out. Now, not so much.
Beltran takes on the inside corner, a strike 2-2. David Wright hoping for a turn on deck. Vizcaino ahead in the count on Beltran with 2 out. Pulled down to first, backhanded by Cairo, gets his footing and hits Vizcaino for the out. So the Mets are turned aside again. 5 stolen bases tonight, but they haven't paid off in more than a run. He's getting together by the shadow of the 4 train this time. Mets took 2 out of 3 at Yankee Stadium, facing Roger Clemens in his second start of the season. Oliver Perez, who beat the Yankees in the Bronx. Mets have used their speed tonight. Carlos Gomez, with his most important game as a Met so far, scored a run and energized a double play. And Jose Reyes, for the first time in 200 at-bats, hitting a home run. He's also stolen 3 bases tonight. And the Mets have themselves a 2-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Check out our Audi out-of-town scoreboard. Casey Blake has just homered in the bottom of the 8th to put the Indians in front of the Braves 4-3. Despite 2 Jimmy Rollins home runs, the Tigers are blowing out the Phillies at Citizens Bank Park. The Blue Jays behind Roy Halladay shutting out the Nationals bottom of the 7th. And the Marlins going up against Gil Mesh and the Royals in Kansas City. Out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Audi, truth in engineering.
Casey Blake now for those Indians, 24-game hitting streak with that home run.
Well, Oliver Perez has thrown 97 pitches through 6 innings. And he'll take on the lower third of the order, Robinson Cano in the bottom of the 7th. Remember, he walked Matsui and Cano back-to-back to start the 4th, but since then, helped out by that Gomez fly ball double play against Cairo, he's retired 8 in a row. One to Cano. The tag team is up in the Mets bullpen. Pedro Feliciano, Joe Smith. In case Perez needs help here in the 7th. Which I guess leads to the question, if this is Perez's final inning, who's going to pitch the 8th?
Well, it'll all hinge on, it could be both.
Well, but the question is,
who starts the inning?
Is it Aaron Heilman?
Yeah.
Because, you know, Aaron owned the 8th. But he's had some struggles in big spots in the 8th inning.
I don't think anyone other than Wagner owns any position in that bullpen.
And Perez falls behind Cano again, 3-1. Now the Mets have done a lot offensively, but they've only managed 2 runs tonight. They've stolen 5 bases. They've had 7 hits in 7 innings, including Reyes' home run. You feel as though their lead should be larger. Off the fists, Valentine retreating. 1 away.
There's ball 4 right there. Once again, the Yankees helping out Perez here. 3-1 count. You want to swing a little better pitch than that.
Well, the 1-0 count, he also swung at a ball, so never really thrown a strike that entire at bat, helping out Oliver Perez.
And Cano is a guy that has come into the game with a .307 on-base percentage. He doesn't walk. He's a free swinger.
Here's Josh Phelps, who struck out and flying to right. Well, Perez beat the Yankees going 7 2/3 the first game of the season between these two clubs, and now trying to open this series with a big effort, and he's turned one in so far tonight.
Well, you know, Gary, he's been a big game pitcher so far this season for the Mets, and if he hangs on with this one, he's beaten the Braves 3 times, twice down there.
In the air to right center field, Green chasing over, and he's there, 2 out. And go back to, you know, his seminal performance as a big leaguer, which was Game 7 against the Cardinals last year. Even though he didn't get a win, he certainly proved he could pitch big in a big game.
And he's 6-5, and he can very easily be 9-3.
Yeah. I think, though, as you were talking about the Mets offense, which has played a fine game, they've missed some opportunities and have 2 runs. But there's games as a starting pitcher where you just have to say to yourself, we've been struggling. This is my game. You have to take charge.
So here's Cairo with 2 out. Now, that was the 105th pitch for Perez. If you can get through this inning another couple of pitches, would you send him out there for the 8th?
I would send him out because he's had an extra day's rest. He should be able to go to the 120 kind of level, 25.
But he's behind on Cairo 2-0. Cairo had a swinging bunt single in the 2nd, then hit that long fly ball to left that Gomez caught against the fence and turned into a double play.
Oh, I just think it's, you know, you got a guy throwing a shutout against a very good hitting ball club. And in our day, Ronnie, he would be in there in the 8th, and he wouldn't be a question.
Yeah, you take care of business, and not to say that.
Little tapper for Perez to handle. Off balance throw, and he threw that one on target. Well, it's the second one he's thrown off balance tonight. Not sure he had to, but he gets the Yankees out 1-2-3, and Perez has now retired 11 Yankees in a row. On to the 8th inning at Yankee Stadium, 2-0 Mets. David Wright leads off the 8th inning against Luis Vizcaíno. David's 1 for 2 and a walk tonight. He's extended his hitting streak to 16 games. He's also stolen a base, 15 out of 15 there. Wright, Delgado, and Loduca as the Mets look to add on here in the 8th. Oliver Perez looks like he's not going anywhere.
Excellent.
Shallow left field. Matsui coming in. And Wright retired one away. Anything regarding truth, I'm really big on. Well, that's going to be all for Vizcaino with the left-hand hitter Delgado coming up. They have Mike Myers, the submarining lefty, up in the bullpen, and there's Myers coming on for the Yankees. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. Vizcaino exits. Myers in for the Yanks. 37-year-old lefty Mike Myers takes over the pitching for the Yankees.
Well, his ERA is good, 2.67. Again, though, walks and strikeouts very close on all the Yankee relief pitchers. 32nd game, though. Myers is one of those pitchers that, well, the Yankees are playing, what, their 65th game, 66th game? He's in half the time.
Here's Delgado, who struck out 3 times tonight. He takes inside. Remember, Myers had to come on in the first inning at Shea in that Saturday afternoon game when Darrell Rasner took one off his finger. And David Wright had a couple of home runs off Myers.
I thought it was, 2 hours before the game, batting practice. I mean, David just teed off on him twice.
1-1 to Delgado, trying to avoid the dreaded golden sombrero.
Well, I tell you what, as a hitter in a slump, in a deep slump, and I had last at bat, I got to face this guy. I just go, Lord, what did I do today that upset you? That you bring this on me?
Delgado does have a home run in his career against Myers, 3 for 12 overall, 2-1. Myers well traveled, now in his 2nd year with the Yankees.
Well, Myers was brought over 2 years ago because the Yankee relief pitchers just could not get Big Papi out, David Ortiz. So they signed him hoping that he would be able to get Ortiz out. First time he faced Ortiz last year, Big Papi took him deep.
Once when Myers was with Milwaukee, John Olerud crushed a home run against him at County Stadium. So he's funky, but he's not flawless against lefties by any means. 67 miles an hour, and get your timing off.
Underneath it again. It's just been such a struggle for Carlos this year.
2-2 to Delgado. Struck him out. The golden sombrero for Carlos Delgado. The 4th time he's been struck out tonight.
Well, it's just a little slider here. It just kind of sweeps across the middle of the plate.
Oh, right down the middle. That's when you know that you are in a funk, a serious funk.
So here's Loduca with 2 out and nobody on. Mets batting in the 8th and leading 2-0. The Yankees due to have the top of the batting order up in the bottom of the 8th. And it's looking for all the world as though Oliver Perez is going to start that last of the 8th inning. Loduca 0 for 3. And he takes a strike. The Mets have out hit the Yankees 7-4. Reyes has had a big day, but 4 through 8 in the Mets lineup. That's Delgado, Loduca, Green, Valentin, Franco. A combined 0 for 15.
Well, Loduca hits lefties great, 410 average, but this is not your traditional lefty.
Came right inside on him, and it's 1-2.
Paul going after a bad pitch here, inside, way inside.
Guidry, the great Yankee lefty and pitching coach.
That was a crew right there. Mattingly, Guidry, and Boa.
Called foul.
Larry Boa.
Oh,
there's Larry.
I
on
had
the right.
more fun with Larry the year he played. The couple of months he played for the Mets. He mostly sat the bench. He didn't play too much. But the stories he would tell and the intensity he brought to just that bench, not even playing.
Well, he confirmed our suspicions that they were stealing signs in '84 of the Cubs.
That's right.
1-2 to LaDuca. Reaches for it and taps it down to Cairo. And so the Mets go out 1-2-3 in the top of the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th at Yankee Stadium. Oliver Perez with a 2-0 lead. Bottom of the 8th inning at Yankee Stadium. The Mets with a 2-0 lead, trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. Mets have lost 9 out of 10. The Yankees, meanwhile, have won 9 in a row, but they've been stymied tonight for 7 innings by Oliver Perez. Mets leading the Phillies by 2 games. The Phillies are trailing 12-6 to Detroit in the 8th inning. The Braves, by the way, just took a lead on Cleveland 5-4 in the 9th. The Yankees, who were 14.5 games out at their lowest point, now just 7.5 behind the Red Sox, who lead the Giants tonight as Melky Cabrera takes ball 1. Red Sox are up 7-2 on the Giants in the 8th at Fenway. Cabrera is 0 for 3, grounded out, struck out, flied out. And Perez falls behind him 2-0. Joe Smith, Pedro Feliciano staying busy. Perez has walked 3 tonight, but has retired the last 11 in a row. There's a strike, 2-1.
Well, you know, Ron, this is uncharted territory. Most of the time, it's 7 innings out of starter.
Yeah.
Your manager showing confidence when you go out in the 8th. That gives you the incentive to go out there and get a 1-2-3 inning.
Popped it up. Franco, Valentin near the stands. Valentin makes the catch. Terrific play by Jose Valentin. One away.
Well, this is all, look at him check where the tarp is, and it's all about negotiating. He couldn't get there in time. He had the furthest to run. And that is just a nice play. And, you know, we just can't say enough about this guy.
And, you know, no shying away from that tarp, even with the knee in a brace.
This is the toughest ballpark. This probably in Fenway. To catch those foul pop-ups, you have such awkward angles there and so little room to deal with. So here's Jeter, 1 for 3, singled back in the first. Valentin made a nice play on him the last time up on a slow ground ball.
Guys, remember earlier in the year in Washington, Willie, with the Mets losing, let Oliver Perez hit. He was asked out after the game, why did you let him hit in that situation? How can I tell him that I have confidence in him to go deep into a game unless I prove it?
2-0 to Jeter. Well, he's gone deeper into a game than any other Met this year. Up to 114 pitches now. No Met has thrown a complete game, but Perez went as long as 8 1/3. 7 1/3 so far tonight. 2-0 to Jeter, fouled away. And not throwing as hard as he was earlier when he was at 93 and 94, but still with a good enough fastball to get Jeter to foul it away.
Ronnie, in the course of a game, you just had that graphic up there, balls and strikes. Where do you want to be percentage-wise on your strikes for overall?
If best is, you know, 66-33, something like that, you know, 2/3 strikes. That's your better games.
Swing, and Bruce Fleming says no swing. Our first look at Bruce Fleming tonight, who, by the way, just announced he's retiring after this season after 37 years on the job.
And he's umpired more games than anyone.
Over 5,000 games, the most in history.
What's Bruce going to do?
Play golf.
He can't be grumpy at the park anymore.
3-1 to Jeter. Line the other way. Toward the line is Green. Can't get it. Jeter to second. And he's in standing with a 1-out double. And so the Yankees will get the tying run to the plate.
Well, Jeter looking like he's going that way all the way and just out of the reach of Green. And Jeter, of course, hustling all the time. What a hustler he is.
That'll be all for Oliver Perez. Pedro Feliciano on to pitch. The most outrageous family on television is coming to the CW11 this fall. Throw the family values out the window and get ready for Family Guy. Don't miss the show packed with so many laughs it'll make your head spin. Family Guy, weeknights this September right here on the CW11. Oliver Perez, 7 1/3 shutout innings. He exits, and Pedro Feliciano enters.
Roughed up in his last outing, 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits and a run. Bobby Abreu, 2 for 11 against Feliciano.
Jeter at second, 1 out. Abreu, the tying run at the plate. Had a 13-game hitting streak starting the night. He's 0 for 2 and a walk in this one. Breaking ball misses badly, 1-0. Feliciano, before that last outing against the Dodgers on Wednesday night, had kind of been immune from the Mets team-wide slump. Schoenweiss and Smith up in the bullpen. And the breaking ball fouled away, 1-1.
Well, good cut right there by Abreu.
Get me over slider.
Got it away just enough. Got out in front a little bit.
A-Rod on deck, so this will probably be the only batter for Feliciano. You got Joe Smith to pitch to A-Rod. Fastball, call strike. And he gets ahead on Abreu, 1-2.
Wow, it's a borderline pitch right there, and it went to the pitcher. Let's see it hit the corner. That's very close. That one went. Feliciano got the call. Could have gone either way.
Breaking ball hit to center and hit well. Beltran back, got turned around, but finds it and makes the catch. Jeter tags and goes to third, but a nice recovery by Beltran to run down Abreu's ball for the second out.
Well, he turned the wrong way at first and righted himself here and makes a big catch. You can see he turned over his left shoulder, his right shoulder first, and then made the correction.
So Feliciano faces one batter and gets one long out from Bobby Abreu, who thought he had gotten it over Beltran, but came up a little bit short. Carlos runs it down. Feliciano leaves. Smith comes on. This call to the bullpen brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. Joe Smith comes on to face Alex Rodriguez.
Almost similar to the situation he was brought in at Shea to face Derek Jeter. He came through that time with a strikeout, here facing the most dangerous hitter in the American League.
Pitched on Tuesday night in L.A., gave up a couple of infield hits in an inning and a third. A nice bounce back for him after a very rough outing in Detroit. Tying run at the plate in a 2-0 game, and A-Rod bounces one foul.
Well, you got to love that sinker when you're a submariner, and it's a hard pitch to hit when you're a righty-righty, lefty-lefty matchup, and you run a sinker like this at you. It's tough to lift that ball, Ron.
Yeah, and you got to love Latuca, you know, because he's calling the pitches. Joe Smith is not calling the pitches and believes in Smith enough to throw that sinker down and in to A-Rod.
Jeter at third and 2 down. Swing and a miss. He just got a piece of it. 0-2.
Well, he's run 2 sinkers in on him. The ball he's going to lift is the slider because it's more flat. He's going to have a hard time lifting a sinker.
So Joe Smith coming right at Alex Rodriguez and ahead 0-2. Aaron Howman up in the bullpen to join Schoenweiss. 0-2 to A-Rod. Hit hard right at David Wright. Takes his time, makes the play, on target, side retired. Joe Smith comes on, gets A-Rod to ground out, and keeps the lead for Oliver Perez and the Mets. 2-0 New York as we go to the ninth. At Yankee Stadium, the Mets with a 2-0 lead. Coming up after the game tonight on the CW11, it's the news at 10. For more coverage of tonight's game, switch over to SNY for Nissan Post-Game Live. Sean Green leads off the ninth against Mike Myers, who came on to get the final 2 outs in the 8th. Sean is 0 for 3 tonight, couple of ground outs and a strikeout. And he taps the first one up the first base line. Myers with the backhand flip, 1 pitch and 1 out. So here's Jose Valentin. In the bottom of the ninth, the Yankees will have Posada, Matsui, and Cano. And Billy Wagner getting ready for them. The Yankees have been shut out twice this year. The Mets with a 2-0 lead as we play in the ninth. Julio Franco waits on deck. Valentine takes a strike. The Mets have played a very aggressive game tonight. 5 stolen bases, including 3 for Reyes, who has had the big night. 3 for 3, a home run, and both RBIs. Carlos Gomez has also played a big role with a couple of bunt singles and a big defensive play. Valentine pops it up, and an easy one for Posada. And there are 2 down.
Well, I think the key is Reyes and Gomez in today's game, and of course Perez. They're the 3 stars of this ball game if the Mets hang on and win.
Don't forget to join us back here on the CW11 tomorrow at 1 for Game 2 of the Big Apple battle between the Mets and the Yankees, live from the Bronx. Don't miss an inning as the Mets look to show their crosstown rivals why New York is their town now. The Mets battle the Yankees tomorrow at 1 right here on the CW11. Joe Torre set to make another pitching change. Wants the right-hander to pitch to Julio Franco. So Myers exits. This call to the bullpen brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. Brian Bruni on to pitch. Brian Bruni comes on to pitch for the Yankees. Our sharp Aquos detail of the game. Aquos brings the detail home. Carlos Gomez with that terrific catch at the wall turns it into a double play, doubling Matsui off second on that ball hit by Miguel Cairo. And that helped out Oliver Perez, who went 7 1/3 scoreless tonight. Bruni comes on to face Julio Franco with 2 out. He misses inside.
Bruni was being used as a closer, setup closer in the minor leagues for the Arizona Diamondbacks. That never came to pass. Has become very popular in the bullpen for Joe Torre now, is working some of these close late innings.
The only problem Bruni has is the same one that his predecessor Vizcaino has, just too many walks.
Yeah.
19 walks in 28 innings. Carlos Gomez on deck if Franco can keep the inning going. Mets 2, Yankees nothing, top of the ninth. And Franco hits one well, but foul down the right field side. Julio made a bid for a home run his first time up tonight against Clemens. Hit one to the fence in right center that Abreu caught. He's homered against Randy Johnson this year. Why not Clemens, right? That's his only home run this season. Brian Bruni, a big, hard-throwing right-hander. Franco fouls off that fastball.
Franco's bat, by the way, looks a lot quicker tonight, doesn't it? Maybe that good feeling of being on the playing field.
Wouldn't you love to hit at Citizens Bank Park?
Oh, wow.
Do you see where Philly got another run there, 12-7?
Phillies have hit 5 home runs in that game, but they're down by 5 runs. That's a typical Citizens Bank Park game.
That was a John Lieber started that game, didn't he?
Yes.
Against Jeremy Bonderman, who gave up 6 runs but still beat the Mets his last time out. 2-2 to Franco. He fouls that one away.
Well, Bonderman gave up those 6 runs. Sometimes you give up 6 runs and you should be taken out immediately. Bonderman pitched a lot better than his line.
Reyes relaxing on what has been a big night for him. 3 for 3 and a walk, home run, 2 RBIs, 3 steals. First time I think I've ever seen Reyes actually sit still.
He's a veteran now.
3-2 now to Franco, who's worked quite a turn at bat here against Bruni. Look at that. Arms folded, relaxed. I mean, he's moving a little bit.
If I did what he did tonight, I'd be in a coma. He's been all over the field.
Yes, he has. On base all 4 times.
This will be the 8th pitch from Bruni to Franco. And he walked him. Now, that's quite a turn at bat there for Julio Franco, and the Mets have a 2-out base run.
Well, we talked about the walks for this bullpen of the Yankees. Extraordinarily one of their big problems. And I think that kills managers, doesn't it? That you bring in a reliever, face the right-hander, and you end up with a walk.
Well, the Mets drew only 1 walk in 3 games in Los Angeles. They've drawn 3 walks tonight. So that's some progress.
Well, Whitey Herzog always told me, or not always told me, but told me what he looked for in a reliever was the first batter he faced. Because back in that day, they brought him in with men on base. It's critical you get the first out. First batter you face, you get out.
Gomez has 2 bunt singles tonight. And he lays off the fastball low, 1-0.
Where was that pitch? This is a strike. Well, that looked like knee high to me.
Depends how high your knees are. 1-0 to Gomez. Franco runs. Posada's throw on target, out. Now Franco trying the element of surprise. He's already stolen 2 this year, caught for the first time. Mets have stolen 5 tonight, but now Posada's thrown out a couple. Wagner comes on to try and close it in the bottom of the 9th. Well, we heard from Billy Wagner earlier this evening talking about focus and desire as the Mets try to snap a 5-game losing streak, and now he gets to focus on his 15th save of the year.
Well, 14 saves out of those 15 chances, 18 strikeouts in his last 10 and 3rd innings in his career. Batting average against 188. That's number 1 among all active relievers.
Well, there's the man of the hour right there.
7 1/3 shutout innings from Perez. Feliciano and Smith each got an out. And now it's on Wagner as he faces the 2nd leading hitter in the American League, Jorge Posada, leading off in the 9th. And Posada's been even better as a right-hand batter this year than he has been from the left side. And Wagner misses ball 1. Billy pitched in a non-save situation the last game in LA and gave up a 2-run homer to James Loney. Now back in his preferred spot with the game on the line. The Yankees have just 5 hits tonight. They've been shut out just twice this season. 1-1 to Posada.
Well, coming into this game, Posada was hitting .354. It's the 2nd in the American League. He's a lifetime. His best year was .287 in 2000. He's looking to become the first Yankee catcher to finish in the top 10 since Thurman Munson did it back in '78. That's hard to believe.
1-1 to Posada. Popped it up. In comes Beltran in shallow center. And he and Valentin have some trouble communicating. Valentin was calling that all the way and might not have heard Beltran calling him off. Well, Carlos grabs it 1 away.
Well, a beautiful ballet here, isn't it? Look at this.
Well, it's ballet now because it was caught.
Anybody for a Yola Tango?
I don't know. That's simply out-rebounded.
He's calling for it. He's calling for it.
It's just not loud enough against 55,000 screaming Yankee fans.
And there's the bow from Valentin. Thank you.
So 1 out. Now Hideki Matsui, who's 0 for 2 and a walk tonight. And Matsui takes a fastball for a strike. Matsui came in a hot hitter. He's been held in check. A-Rod came in red hot. He went 0 for 4. Abreu came in with a 13-game hitting streak, 0 for 3. Good slider by Wagner to get out on Matsui, 0-2. 55,259 here at the Yankee Stadium. Don't forget post-game coverage tonight on SNY right after the game. 0-2 to Matsui. On the outside corner, strike 3 call. 2 men down.
Oh, what a slider. Fastball to start him, slider down, and this one right on the outside corner. Well, it might be. I know, Keith, you're a hitter. Might be off, but he's been calling that pitch a strike all night.
He has.
Well, the Mets snapped their 4-game losing streak in Detroit, getting shutout pitching from Sosa and company. Trying to do the same to snap a 5-game losing streak tonight, as Robinson Cano takes ball 1. Cano 1 for 2 and a walk. And he takes all the way a fastball, 1-1. Let's try to make it 3 wins in 4 games against the Yankees as the mayor looks on. Fouled away, 1-2. Mayor watching, so is the cover boy.
Omar Minaya.
Tony Bernazard next to him, his assistant.
This is with a slider, and it's 2-2 to Cano.
He struck it out, and the ball game is over. Billy Wagner with a 1-2-3 ninth with a couple of strikeouts to save it for Oliver Perez. A huge night for Jose Reyes, and the Mets snap their 5-game losing streak by shutting out the Yankees, whom they've now beaten 3 out of 4 this season.
Well, can't say enough, Keith, about Oliver Perez and his effort tonight, getting into the 8th inning, 7th and 3rd inning of great work, and the great speed of Jose Reyes and Carlos Gomez.
Absolutely. Come and get it. What time do you guys get back on that road trip? 8:30 in the morning?
8:30, yeah.
It's, it's a wasted off day. You got to sleep all day. Tough game to play. Billy Wagner had some very hard words to say after that loss in Los Angeles. Well, he went out there and shut the door.
Oliver Perez with a tremendous performance tonight, beating the Yankees for the 2nd time this season with 7 1/3 superb innings. Feliciano and Smith each getting it out in the 8th, and then Wagner blowing them away in the 9th as Jose Reyes hit his first home run in 200 at-bats, 3 for 3, drove in both runs, stole a couple of bases to boot, 3 bases on the night for Reyes, and Willie Randolph, keeping his cool, leads his team to a 2-0 win over his old ball club. And the Mets take the opening game of the series. Perez now 7-5, lowers his ERA to 2.93 with his performance tonight. As the Mets beat Roger Clemens, Wagner gets his 15th save, and the Mets take the opener of the weekend series here at Yankee Stadium. Game summary brought to you by Jeep. Mets win it 2-0. Back to the Bronx in just a moment. Well, here at Yankee Stadium, the Mets take the opener of the weekend series, beating the Yankees 2-0. And the last 2 weekends, the Mets have had these losing streaks. It was Jorge Sosa who snapped the streak in Detroit, and tonight Oliver Perez, masterful here in the Bronx.
Well, 2 wins for Oliver Perez in his starts, only 2 earned runs given up. And don't overlook the great job that Joe Smith and Pedro Feliciano. Feliciano getting Abreu out, who's been hot, and Joe Smith getting the hottest hitter in baseball out, and A-Rod.
And then Jose Reyes, what can you say about his night?
Well, we've always said it, as the Mets go, Jose Reyes goes in that leadoff position, and here he was, 3 for 3 today, a solo home run. He stole 3 bases, walked, so he was on base in 4 at-bats, and all 4 of his at-bats. And young Carlos Gomez, a nice drag bunt, got things going for the Mets, and he stole a bag.
And he also made a great defensive play, too, to start an inning-ending double play as the Mets win it 2-0. Tomorrow, game 2 of this series, right back here on the CW11. Tom Glavine takes another stab at win number 296 against Tyler Clippard. Mets and Yankees getting together. Coming up next, it's the CW11 News at 10. And over on SNY, it's Nissan post-game live. Oliver Perez with a huge night tonight, 7 1/3 shutout innings as the Mets defeat the Yankees. Carlos Gomez with a couple of bunt hits and that tremendous catch to start a double play. Jose Reyes, his first homer in 200 at-bats to fuel the Mets offense. Now for Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling and Kevin Burkhardt, I'm Gary Cohen from Yankee Stadium. We'll see you again tomorrow afternoon for Game 2 of this series, right back here.
Now, I'm not too sure where Matsui's going on that play right there.
We'll get into that a little bit later on, but the team is loving it, and you sense there's a little energy. You can feel the energy midway through this game. It is obvious. Top of the 5th, Jose Reyes, 2 singles and an RBI already, and that off the facade of the upper deck, his 3rd home run of the year. 1 out later, David Wright just past Derek Jeter. Wright's hitting streak is at 16 games. Then Delgado at the plate, and David Wright takes off. His stolen base number 15. But Clemens gets Delgado looking, and another rough night for Carlos Delgado. So Clemens is out of that inning. It's 2-0. Perez trying to hold that lead. Melky Cabrera. Fly ball to center field. And there's an out. And then it's Jeter's turn. You know what Jeter does, right? Well, not this time. This is Valentin moving in, charging well, gets his man for 2 outs. And then Abreu. The ground ball 4-3. First 1-2-3 inning of the game for Perez. 6th inning, bottom of it. 1 out. Posada. Down swinging. Number 6 on the strikeout department for Perez. Then it's Matsui next to center field. Beltran back. Beltran puts it away. Perez retires 8 straight. Top 7. There's Gomez again. Look at this. This time he goes to. There is no. You can't
chance.
Past the pitcher, no chance, right?
No chance.
All right. So Clemens is done. 6 1/3, 7 hits, 2 runs. Standing O. How about this? Gomez takes off, but this time he's out. Posada gets him. Reyes next. Vizcaíno walks him. Reyes on for the 4th straight time, and he takes off again. And he's in there. Real close. I mean, real close, but he's in. Carlos Beltran grounds out. Inning over. Mets still up 2-0. Move to the bottom of the 8th. Perez still in after getting the first out. Derek Jeter comes through on a 3-1 pitch past Sean Green. Derek Jeter cruises into second base with a double. And that's going to do it for Oliver Perez. 7 1/3, no runs, 5 hits, 6 strikeouts. He was huge when the Mets needed him. Pedro Feliciano facing Bobby Abreu. Did he get it? He didn't get it. Beltran got it. Jeter tags, moves to 3rd. Joe Smith comes in to face A-Rod, and he gets A-Rod with the ground ball. David Wright takes care of it. So Joe Smith taking care of business. 9th inning, bottom of the 9th. 2-0 still. Here's your leadoff batter. It's Jorge Posada. Center field, first out of the inning. Huge. Check out this. Beltran and Valentin, and there's some smiles. We haven't seen many smiles from the Mets. Hideki Matsui, frozen. Last chance. Robinson Cano, swinging. 15th save of the year for Billy Wagner. Final score, 2-0. The Mets snapped the skid. Oliver Perez was absolutely fantastic. David Wright, a 16-game hitting streak. Stolen base, he's 15 for 15 this season. On the night, the Mets stole 5, and they attempted 7 stolen bases, Maz. So they're using speed to get it done.
Yeah, you know what? This is a running ball club all the time. You know they can run. But one of the things is you have a scouting report and you look at Roger Clemens. Roger Clemens is not very fast to the plate. When I mean that, his delivery is not quick towards home plate. And we do in baseball, we time the pitcher to the catcher. And if he's a 1-3 or 1-4 time he releases the ball to get to the catcher, that's slow. And you know what? The Mets have a scouting, their advanced scouts, they'll look at that. They'll time Roger on his last start, how quick and how slow he is. And you know what? The report was, Matt, run on Roger. If you run on base, you got to run, and that's what they did.
And they also bunted on Roger. The standings in the NL East as of right now with the Mets win and a Braves win. The Mets on the Braves at 2.5 games, so that holds. The Phillies are still in progress. We will see how that ends, and we'll let you know how that ends a little bit later on Nissan Post Game Live. We come back after a break. It's Maz back. Matt here with you. We'll also hear from the guys in the booth on Nissan Post Game Live. We know they needed something to get the ball rolling, and tonight it was speed, and the Mets had plenty of it, and they certainly took advantage of the Yankees, yes?
Well, you know, they haven't been hitting, Matt, and Jose Reyes got on 4 times today. And we've always said it. You've been here long enough. As Jose Reyes goes, so go the Mets. and he was a catalyst today. Well, now you got another guy down there in the bottom of the order. That was Carlos Gomez, who's got just as much speed, and he got it started with that bunt and stole the base, and I guess Jose Reyes took his lead, and that was the difference in the ballgame today. Of course, Oliver Perez was brilliant.
Hey, Keith, what effect did Beltran hitting second have on the top of the order as far as Reyes is concerned? We haven't seen it much. I think this is only the second time he's hit second this season.
Well, I think Willie just wanted to jumble up the lineup. I think it was a good time. They've lost 9 out of 10. They hadn't been hitting in the clutch. And that's one thing they can do with Beltran. They can throw him into that second position because he has speed also. It gives them more speed up on top of the order. What effect it had on Reyes, I don't know, but Reyes certainly was 3 for 3 with a home run and a walk and was in the middle of everything, 3 stolen bases, and I think that he and Gomez were the catalysts for the ball club today.
Hey, guys, good to see you.
Hi, Lee. How are you?
All right, guys. Listen, you know what? We know the Mets struggled on the last road trip. They have not been playing well. Going into this game, this series, the Yankees, for me, I'm looking at the Yankees as this is the team that we should be playing right now. This is a team that may bring the intensity level up for us to take us over that hump right now that we struggled in the last week or so.
Lee, I completely agree with you. I think it's sometimes you would say, boy, wouldn't you rather play a last-place team? Maybe you can take advantage of them. But I think what they really needed was an injection of spirit, an injection of going out there and pushing the envelope a little bit. And who better to do it against than the Yankees? And, of course, one of the greatest right-handed pitchers, if not the greatest, of all time. If you're not ready for Roger Clemens and the New York Yankees, then you never will be. And they were tonight. Listen, they won 2-0. So it's not like they had the bats really going, but they did the little things to help them win. And again, they had a couple games with 2 errors in Los Angeles, played stellar defense tonight, of course, punctuated by that great catch by Gomez in left field. Not many players on the Mets roster have enough speed to get there and make that play, and then to turn into double play, got Oliver Perez out of a huge jam.
Do you think they had a game plan? Obviously, they stole 5 out of 7 bases tonight. Was it to run on Roger tonight?
Well, I think yes. I mean, that's one place you can take advantage of Roger Clemens because, it's not because of his advanced age. It's just because he didn't have any spring training. He hasn't been pitching all year. And sometimes you don't have a feel for the running game when you just get thrown in there like he's been thrown in there. But, yeah, it's a game plan if you can get the guys on base. That was the thing is that Reyes got on base. Gomez got on base twice. So they were able to use their speed. But, Roger Clemens, what a game he pitched. I mean, 6 innings, only a couple of runs. I don't see much difference with him,
Yeah, Ronnie, you're a pitcher, and to look at Roger pitch at 44, 45 years old, I mean, it's impressive.
I can barely get out of bed in the morning, and I'm 46, so I think it's fantastic. He's just, he's just one of those elite athletes that can still do what he does. The thing that's amazing to me is that he's still a power pitcher. I believe he had 7 strikeouts in tonight's game. Still a power pitcher at this age. Gave them a great effort. Just Oliver Perez was a little better tonight.
Hey, Keith, Carlos Delgado not just struggled tonight, but they kind of had him out of whack. They got him out on different pitches throughout the night. Did they exploit the things that are wrong with Delgado? Did they take full advantage of him?
Well, Clemens got him, I believe, 3 times, and the tough sinker baller, the submariner Myers got him the last at bat. You can kind of throw that away. But, he's been struggling all year. I really thought he was coming out of that great series he had down in Florida when he hit the home runs, 2 in that one game. And I said, oh, my goodness, he's back. He's waiting on the ball. When he came back home off of that tremendous series in Florida, he's still flying out that front hip and that front shoulder, and he's not waiting. And that is the problem, and I'm sure Carlos is very much aware of it, and he's working on it in batting practice. It's new for him. Come on, he's one of the great hitters of the game, and this is the first time for him where he's had this kind of a slump. It's been basically year-long.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's tired of answering questions, but I get the feeling that you may be tired of answering questions about Delgado's slump also, Keith.
No, it's you like, these guys are good guys. You like to see them break out. They work hard. Delgado's the cleanup hitter, and he's an important guy in that lineup. And he's got 39 RBIs for the season, and really has not swung the bat well.
That's amazing.
So that's, to me, is the fact that he's got 39 RBIs. Usually when someone struggles like that, he's having just a miserable season.
All right, Keith and Ron, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks.
All right, good.
All right, Yankees stay in. They take a different route home, but it's still close enough. Inside the box score, looks a little something like this. Top of the order gets it done. The middle does not, but the bottom does, Maz. That's what the AL-type lineup will do for you.
If you look at the top of the order, Reyes gets 3 hits, Gomez gets 2 hits. And in American League, you can do that. You can put your speed on the number 1 spot, and you can put speed in the number 9 spot. Now it's like you have 2 leadoff hitters. And you'll see a lot of American League teams do that. And, you know, with the Mets, I mean, you got 2 just burners in number 1 and number 9.
Yeah, number 1 was the offensive star of the game, and Kevin Burkhardt talked with him just a few minutes ago.
Jose, start with the stolen bases. 3 for you. The team really was aggressive tonight. Did you talk about that coming in, that you wanted to steal and be aggressive?
Oh, yeah, we're talking before the game. You know, Clemens a little slow to home play, you know, and we had to take a chance, you know, and the most important thing, we get on base, you know, and we try to put some pressure to the other team.
Did tonight feel good for you? I know you hadn't been hitting it the way you wanted to hit, but you come out and you got the 3 hits. You're on base again with a walk.
I mean, not just for me, you know, for the whole team, because we need a win, you know. The most important thing, we got a W, so we play tough game lately, and it's always good winning the Yankees.
It's a pretty good game to hit your first home run at 200 at-bats.
I mean, you know, that's going to come because it's a long season. Sometimes you're going to have up and down, so yes, I'm glad because we win the game.
How about your buddy Gomez? A big night for him tonight. He stole the base as well. He made a big play out in right field and a couple of bunts against Clemens. Did you guys talk about that, about bunting and trying to get him off the mound there?
Oh, yeah, we try to bunt a lot here because the grass is kind of high, you know. It's good for bunting here, you know, and we know Clemens, he got some problem with his groin, you know, and we try to move him a little bit around there in the mouth, and we did it tonight.
Jose, big game. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, no lack of energy there from Jose Reyes. Maz, last series, we saw Jose Reyes with a ball that was well hit in Los Angeles, bounced off the pitcher, fielded by an infielder. The disappointment and the frustration came through where he actually nearly stopped running on the way down to first. Completely uncharacteristic of the way the Mets play, uncharacteristic of the way Reyes played. They get a day off, they come back. Does a team look for a guy like this to feed off of?
Yeah, and I think, you know, with Jose being frustrated and you lose, that's what happens. But yeah, you look at a guy like Jose Reyes because there's one reason why you look at him, because when he goes, the Mets go. That's as easy as that.
All right, so the Yankees held to no runs. Incredible, because during their 9-game win streak that comes to an end this evening, they averaged nearly 7.5 runs a game for 9 games. Then they come up against Oliver Perez and a couple of relievers, and it's nothing. And Bobby Abreu, who's really been just incredible this month, 0 for 3, A-Rod 0 for 4, and when your leadoff guy doesn't get on, you're not scoring runs.
Yeah, and you know what? You go back 100 years in baseball, in this game of baseball, and good pitching is going to shut down good hitting. And like you said, the Yankees have scored 7.5 runs a game, and you have a pitcher like Perez come in and do the job that he did tonight and just shut down a great hitting ball club and a hot hitting ball club as well.
Yeah, and Perez seemed to go to that fastball up and a little out of the zone to the righties tonight to get them out.
Yeah, I thought early on in the game he was a little wild and he was losing that release point. And if you look during the game, you would see Rick Peterson go over and speak to him about getting on top of the ball. I mean, I thought Melky chased the bad ball out of the zone, and you know, they gave him a chance to get him back in the game. But he was a little wild at times, and they say being effectively wild. But he threw a good game tonight, and he just shut down a good hitting ball club.
Yeah, and for the first time in a while, you're going to hear Willie Randolph talk about a Mets win instead of a Mets loss. And you're going to hear from Willie after a break. Nissan Postgame Live continues on a Friday night in New York City. Of the game, bottom of the fourth, 2 on. Miguel Cairo, fly ball to left. And Carlos Gomez takes care of business at the wall with a fan in his grill. And they double off Hideki Matsui. Big play in the game, clearly in a 2-0 game. Gomez gets it done. Gomez in left field. We've seen him in right field. We've seen him in center field, where he plays center field. The difference is in adjusting to left.
Well, for me, being in the outfield, playing all 3 positions, I feel that center field is the easiest position to play, and then second being right field being the next easiest to play, and left field being the hardest position to play. Yeah, because the angles coming off the batter are different in left field. predominantly the more right-handed hitters in baseball. So the angle, the ball off the bat is going to hook more, and usually you don't get a good read off that. Although your slower outfielders play left field, in Yankee Stadium, left field is probably the hardest position to play in all the positions.
All right, now Matsui getting doubled off. This is a fundamental guy. How did that happen?
He's a fundamentally sound ball player. There's no question that he is. And for me, when I'm watching the game, to see him get picked off or doubled off at second base, I'm not too sure he knew how many outs there were because he was just way too far out, and the play is right in front of him. So, you know, I think Matsui might have thought there were just 2 outs.
All right, so a mistake
for
the opponents. For the opponents, we haven't seen a whole lot of that in the last 2 or 3 weeks against the Mets. Willie Randolph speaks about the Mets win, a 2-0 win at Yankee Stadium.
Willie, can you talk about Oliver Perez, how solid he was tonight?
Well, you know, Ollie's, you know, when he's in rhythm, he's great, you know. I mean, what can you say? I mean, you know, we just got to always keep him in his rhythm, keep him in the groove, and every once in a while he gets away from himself, you know, drives a little nuts every once in a while, but superb game for him. You keep him focused and keep him pounding the zone and stay in his arm angle. He's great. So, you know, he had gave up a couple hits early, but then he settled down and really kept him at bay. And, you know, we scored enough runs to get the job done. But and the bullpen did a nice job too. So, but Ollie, you know, he's when he's on, he's tough to hit.
Carlos Gomez, you have him down at 9th spot, kind of a double leadoff spot.
Yeah, well,
about his game.
You keep the speed together. I mean, you know, he's the kind of kid that if you get on base, he makes things happen, like he did tonight. You know, superb defense. So, you know, he's getting some good experience. You know, getting out there and playing a little bit, and you know, he just brings a lot of energy. I love it. I love his energy. You know.
Well, you talk about your vantage point of play, the double play, of Kyra's ball to left field, which you saw.
You know, I didn't even see it. You know, I didn't think it was going to be out. I mean, I guess it wasn't out of the ballpark, was it?
Doesn't look like it would have made it.
No. You know, if the ball's up there for a long time like that, I figured he was going to catch it. I was just hoping that it would either go foul or you know, or it would just obviously stay in the ballpark. But how about the throw? I mean, I was more impressed with the throw. I didn't see him throw the ball. I mean, I was on a different angle, but the ball got to the infield real quick, and he has an outstanding arm. So, you know, great play. That's why he's out there. I mean, he gives you that that defense, and it's huge, and especially in a close game like that. You know.
Was it play of Reyes all night, and how valuable?
Well, you know, it's no secret. You know, that's what I tell you guys all the time. You know, your team struggle, but they struggle because, you know, their main players sometimes are in a little bit of a funk. So tonight, he's on base. What happens? We win. So it's really kind of simple. That's why you don't trip on, you know, the ups and downs of the game, because, you know, you're only going to be as good as your horses take you, and they're human. They're going to go through slumps every once in a while. They're going to lose confidence every once in a while, but they get it back. And when they get it back, you get some semblance of what you look like, you know. And, you know, Jose starts us off. He makes things happen for us, obviously, so it's no secret. I mean, you know, you got to go with what you got, and I like what we have here, and we're going to go through periods where guys just in a different cycle than other times. So, you know, no surprise when he does well for us, and we need him to continue to do that. Excuse me?
What did you think of Cummings?
It was pretty much what I expected. I mean, you know, Roger was good. I mean, he, you know, still has good movement on his split finger, you know, which is his main pitch. And, you know, hit his spots when he had to here and there. But, you know, he pitched a good ball game, I thought. And he just reminded me of Roger Clemens, the guy that, you know, still can pitch his butt off, you know. So, you know, I was impressed with what he threw at us. And, you know, we were just able to get a couple runs off him, but it was enough, you know.
When Perez is on, who does he remind you
of? I don't know. You know, I remember young Frank Tanana one time. He was very similar to him. But, you know, you don't find many lefties with this kind of stuff, and because you don't see many, it's tough to compare, you know. But Frank Tanana comes to my mind when he was young. But, you know, Ali has the potential to be real good, but he needs to, you know, continue to stay focused.
When you talk about that focus, does he seem to do that better in big spots, big crowds?
Not necessarily. I mean, I've seen on both sides where he's just needs to just stay within himself, you know. But I mean, he does. It doesn't affect him. I mean, big crowds. I mean, it might pump him up a little bit, but he's pretty much oblivious to all that. He just goes out and pitches, and if he needs to, you know, dig down a little deeper every once in a while, he does that too. But it's just all mental. It's all, you know, being able to just stay, you know, within yourself and repeat your delivery.
When he's pitching, do you do anything in the dugout to talk to him to keep him focused?
Yeah. Always got to keep him on his toes.
Willie, with all the positives tonight, one guy who might want to forget tonight was Carlos with the 4 strikeouts. Anything in his at-bats that you saw that you thought wasn't happening for him tonight?
No, he's been doing the same things he's been doing for a while now. He's just his mechanics are out of whack, and he's getting out in front of the ball, and he needs to just continue to work to stay back on the ball. I mean, it's no secret he struck out 4 times like that. I mean, not the first time, but he's just in one of those funks where I think he knows what he's doing mechanically, but sometimes easier said than done. He's working hard every day, and he needs to continue to do that. But he'll come out of it. He'll bounce out of it. And when he does, I guarantee you he's going to get some payback from a lot of people. He will.
All right, that's Willie Randolph. In that interview, he talked about Clemens. Your thoughts? You spent 4 years with him with the Yankees.
Well, Matt, here's a guy that's 44 years old, and it's amazing that he's out there pitching on a major league level and doing so great. I mean, here's a guy that, he'll go out and try to beat you with his physical talent. And if he can't beat you with his physical talent, he's going to go out there and try to beat you emotionally. And if he can't do that, he's going to throw his heart and soul out on the field. Here's a guy that knows how to pitch. He knows what his limitations are. He knows how far he can get in the game. He knows exactly what he wants to do with each pitch. He has a game plan. I mean, it's pretty remarkable to look at a guy at 44 years old, like I said, to go out there and pitch on that level, on this stage. And the thing is that gets me is that the pitching in general in baseball. I mean, you look for pitching. Every team looks for pitching, and they can't find it. And you have to go out and sign a 44-year-old pitcher to pitch in the big leagues. And he's
for $1 million a start.
Well, but he's pretty good.
Yeah, well, he pitched a nice game.
He did. He pitched
They
a
lost.
very good game tonight.
And they lost. We take another break on Nissan Post Game Live. When we come back, you're going to hear from Carlos Gomez, and Oliver Perez. Reaction continues to trickle in from the Bronx. You'll hear it here next.
Hey, I'm Gary Apple. Coming up on Daily News Live, we're going ahead for the Bronx. Part 2 of the Subway Series. Yankees GM Brian Cashman is going to join us, plus a report from the U.S. Open. Jim Furyk has...
And they got it. Oliver Perez goes 7 1/3. No runs allowed. The ERA is under 3. He had gone 3 starts without a win. He gets one now. He's 7-5. Certainly a positive on a team that stayed positive, according to the lefty.
Everybody know we was having a big time, bad time when we was playing away. We come today to the park, and everybody thinking positive. I think that was the key for today. Everybody want to come here and trying to win the game, and that was what we do.
You pitched really well against the Braves and the Yankees. Can you talk about the second time around with them? You pitched even better.
You just got to make pitches. I know there's a really hard lineups. You just have to get out the innings as quickly you can, because when they take a chance and that's what happened. They have a lot of they playing good right now, so I think that was the key for them.
So do you think the key inning was when you got Phelps out? And then, was the key inning when you got Phelps out and then Carlos made the big play in left field? Is that the key inning? I
think that was one of the great play for today, because and they had a homer that was taking the lead. I think that was the key for today.
Oliver, can you compare facing the Yankees a month ago to now, where a month ago they weren't doing as well, and now they were just coming off a 9-game winning streak? Was your approach any different or the same?
Yeah, I don't was thinking about they were playing good, and I just was trying to do my job to keep my team in the game. I think we had a really good bullpen, and everybody do a good job today.
Oliver, is there something about the big game that makes you focus even more? You put in the Braves and the Yankees this year in Game 7 last year.
Yeah, I just trying to enjoy the game. I just trying to don't think too much, because I think before that was my problem. I was thinking too much. I don't was playing the baseball, and this year I just play baseball, enjoy it.
All right, that's Oliver Perez. He said one of the keys to this game, this catch by his left fielder, Carlos Gomez. Not just a catch, but a double play as Hideki Matsui wanders way too far, and they double him off in the 4th. That was with the Mets leading 1-0. Here's Gomez with Kevin Burkhardt.
Carlos, were you a little bit more calmer playing against the Yankees now that you've played them already this year, or what were your feelings before this game?
No, I feel before this game, I'm young, and
like 2 years ago and last year we see the Yankee Stadium, and like, oh my God, I wanna someday I play there, and I say, and today, before I feel like Yankee Stadium is the best, and now it's like, it's not. I feel more in Shea Stadium, more like
More relaxed.
Yeah.
How about, Jose told me that he talked to you a little bit about maybe bunting on Clemens tonight. Did you think about that, and why did you think that would be a good idea?
Because Jose tell me and some people more, they say, hey, Clemens no like bunt. You know, like bunt and use today, and I say, okay. I do a couple times, and I do the first, and I see her face. I say, oh, I change him, man. And the next time, I wanna swing for. I wanna change his mind. Oh, he can swing too. And next time, I see this third base bat, push bump for third base, and okay, now I got you.
When that ball was hit initially, did you think you had a chance to make the catch, or?
No, my first and second step, no. And when I run, I say, come on, you can catch the ball, and I go and keep going and jump and see like fans like crazy and catch and throw that quick.
What do you say to Jose after a game like this? I know you guys are pretty tight.
No, I say, hey, I got Clemens already.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
Carlos Gomez with Kevin Burkhardt. Tonight's Save of the Game brought to you by the Roslyn Savings Bank, a member of the NYCB family of banks. Billy Wagner gets Robinson Cano to end the game, his 15th save. A 1-2-3 night for Billy the Kid.
What talk about Perez and his? It just seems like when there's big game, there's a big crowd. He really steps up.
He really does. I mean, as much as we've been struggling as a team, pitching, offensive, he stepped up. I mean, to throw a shutout against a team like this is just 1-9 straight. I mean, that says a lot for him, and he pitched great. He wasn't as consistent or as what you guys would like to say, pitcher perfect and hitting spots and stuff, but I think effectively Wild was just exactly the way he needed to pitch. Nobody got comfortable. I mean, one at your head, two on the corner. I mean, that's perfect.
Won't they kind of revitalize the team a little bit, just get a breath of fresh air?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it could, but I mean, you still got to play through this. I mean, you get to the ballpark today, you're still struggling. Your team's still struggling. I mean, today we picked up a big win. Tomorrow's even bigger win for us. We got to come out and play really hard. But I'm not going to sit there and say and try to say that we're not thinking about it, and we all know we're frustrated and struggling. But we came out and played a full game today. We got big hits. Pitching was great, and we need to build on that.
How nice is it to finally just break this slide?
Well, we haven't broke anything yet. We just won one game. We got to go out and continuously get better. I mean, there's definitely things in our game that we can improve on, and today we took steps in the right direction. I don't know how he caught it. The fans were. I just don't know how he caught it. They were in his face, and he made what was impressive was to keep your concentration, catch the ball, and then turn and throw a BB to second base. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Did you say you said it in here or saw it in here?
I saw it in here. I was sitting in here when I saw it. Is that better for you? Sit, then saw.
The one and only Billy Wagner talking. You know what? He tells it like it is, man. Tomorrow, Glavine against Tyler Clippard. Thoughts on Glavine bouncing back after a terrible
Well,
outing?
he had a rough outing. He had 4 innings, gave up 11 hits his last outing. But, facing the Yankee ball club and with the way Glavine pitches, and he's going to have to change speeds and move the ball around. I think it's going to be good for the Mets because the Yankees are a team, that you can't throw hard enough to, and they like the fastball. So Glavine pitches are going to change it up a little bit.
All right, that's going to do it for us here on Nissan Post Game Live. You will hear from Roger Clemens coming up as Geico Sports Night continues. I'm Matt Yalla.
I'm Lee Mazzilli. Good night, New York.
Showtime Part 2. Steve Overmeyer, Kenny Choi in the house. Welcome to the broadcast again. Rough day at Oakmont for some golfers. Lefty going left all day at the U.S. Open, and there was little bit of baseball, too.
Yeah, we start off with that Subway Series. Two teams heading in opposite directions. The Mets, the Yankees. Let's get you to the highlights. Game 1 of the Subway Series. Roger Clemens, his 5th career start in the Subway Series. 2-2 against the Mets with a 7.04 ERA, and the Mets jump right on him. Jose Reyes rips the single to right. Carlos Beltran batting second now. First pitch he sees, he lines. 2 on, no out. David Wright, a little slow roller to third. A-Rod steps on third, gets the force out. Clemens then against Carlos Delgado. Got him with the splitter. 2 outs. Paul LaDuca up next. And LaDuca grounds out to Derek Jeter and ends the inning. The Mets fail to produce a run. Clemens gets out of trouble. How about Oliver Perez? Looking for win number 7. Derek Jeter rips the single to left. A man on now for the red-hot Bobby Abreu. And Perez has had a couple of games where he's had a lack of control, if you will. 2 straight games with no control. It skips away from LaDuca. Jeter's at second. And then Perez, though, comes right back and gets Abreu with the slider. Up steps A-Rod. Major League leading 25 homers. He gone swinging through the high heat. Inning over. Jeter stranded at second, and maybe a boost of confidence for Perez. Bottom of the second, Posada goes up the middle for a base hit. So now Posada with a leadoff single. It's Hideki Matsui. Little comebacker right to Perez. Thinking about 2. He'll be happy with 1 after that nice pick by Jose Reyes. Robinson Cano follows. A little single past the diving Jose Valentin. So now we got 2 on. He's got issues again. But again, a nasty breaking ball gets Phelps swinging. 2 outs. Miguel Cairo, little check swing roller to third. Nobody can make the play. So now we have bases loaded. Perez in a jam again. Melky Cabrera, though, chasing the 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Yankees leave the bases loaded. 3rd inning, Carlos Gomez leading off. There it is. Test the guys. Lays down a bunt. There's not even a throw. No play, using speed to get on. Gomez, then, he's off. Stealing on the first pitch. Not even close. His 6th stolen base of the year. He's got wheels. Reyes, then, singling to center. Just reaching out and poking that right through the middle. Reyes picks up his 29th RBI of the season, and then he's gone. The pitch outs, and it doesn't matter. Reyes is in their 33rd swipe of the year. As for Clemens, focus on Beltran once again. Gets him looking. For the out, David Wright up next. Reyes on the move. Boy, the speed just absolutely kills. Gets into 3rd. Wright was walked. Delgado goes down for the 2nd out. Clemens against LaDuca. Little short chopper. LaDuca can't get anything going. The Mets still maintaining that 1-0 lead. 4th inning now. Perez, some control issues that have plagued him in the last couple of games. Walks Matsui, follows that up with a walk to Cano. Josh Phelps up next, full count. And Phelps flies out to right for the 1st out. Cairo's up next. Cairo puts his back into this one. Carlos Gomez at the wall and reels it in. And then he doubles up Matsui for the 2nd out of the inning. Bad base running error for Hideki Matsui. Check out the catch once again from Gomez. Nice concentration. And he gets the double play. One more look, very nice by Gomez. 5th inning now. Jose Reyes, a couple of singles, an RBI on the day. Clemens tries to give him the hook. And that's what happens. Who knew Jose Reyes had that kind of power? Upper deck power. 3rd homer of the year for him. 7th inning now. Gomez. Boy, that one was up at his eyes, but he still beats everybody to 1st. Another bunt single for Carlos Gomez, and that's going to do it.
Clemens getting a standing O?
Might as well. He's done
game.
For the night. He's standing
$1 million
ovation. Bottom of the 8th inning. Perez still on the mound. Uh-oh. Derek Jeter, a shot to right. Sean Green can't get to this one. It's a 1-out double for Jeter. Willie Randolph goes and gets Perez. 7. Go to advance, but Randolph then brings in Joe Smith against A-Rod. A-Rod shot, not going to get there, and David Wright makes the play to get the out. Joe Smith, Mets still up 2-0 into the 9th inning. Bottom of the 9th, of course, enter Sandman. Billy Wagner closes it out, gets Robinson Cano to end things, his 15th save of the season. There's a party in the Bronx, and it's being done by the Mets. 2-0 is the final in this one. The Mets come away as the winners in this one. A brilliant performance from Oliver Perez, who tossed his second shutout of the season. It wasn't all good for the Mets. Carlos Delgado earned the golden sombrero with 4 strikeouts. The Mets now beaten the Yankees 3 out of the last 4 meetings, and they end the longest winning streak in the majors this year. Along with it, snap a 5-game skid of their own.
The team struggle, but they struggle because, you know, their main players sometimes are in a little bit of a funk. So tonight, he's on base, what happens? We win. So it's really kind of simple. That's why you don't trip on, you know, ups and downs of the game, because, you know, you're only going to be as good as your horses take you.
Not just for me, you know, for the whole team, because we need a win. You know, the most important thing, we got the W, so we play tough game lately, and it's always good winning the Yankees.
We come today to the park, and everybody thinking positive. You know, I think that was the key for today. Everybody want to come here and trying to win the game, and that was what we do.
Today we picked up a big win. Tomorrow's even bigger. But you know, I'm not going to sit there and say and try to say that, you know, we're not thinking about it, and we all know we're frustrated and struggling. But you know, we came out and played a full game today. We got big hits. Pitching was great, and we need to build on that.
It's not like it's strange to see Oliver Perez stepping up in the clutch. He did the same thing last year in the playoffs. Coming off a couple of games where he gave up a combined 8 walks, Perez was on tonight. He ended the first 3 innings, picking up strikeouts in each one of them with runners on base. So Perez, I guess he just really has the Yankees number while wearing a Mets uniform. On May 18th, he scattered 5 hits, allowing just 2 runs, lasting until the 8th inning in a win. Tonight, his numbers were even better, earning the shutouts. By the way, when he faced the Yankees wearing a Pirates uni, he gave up 6 runs in 7 innings. Let's get you out to the Yankees clubhouse for a little reaction on Perez's night.
I think we already scored 1 run off him in 2 games. You know, he pitched around the strike zone really well. You know, he got a little wild for a time, but sometimes that makes him more effective.
He pitched well. You know, he pitched well against the lineup that's been swinging the bats pretty good. So you give him a lot of credit. You know, we just couldn't get any hits with guys on base. You know, we sprinkled some hits here and there, but you know, he pitched pretty well.
He was effectively wild. That's probably the easiest way to put it. He seemed like he wanted to throw a strike, he threw it, and then he expanded his zone when he was ahead of the count.
Well, tomorrow afternoon it will be Tom Glavine against Tyler Clippard. For the 22-year-old lefty, got his first major league win against the Mets in the final game of the first Subway Series at Shea. As for Glavine, it'll be his 5th try to win number 296.